loser, but time is not in his favor. He has a challenge, a shotgun close, and Wood's gonna get it!
Do some damage. Nicolai from the backside! Finds Wisdom again! It would be a big one. He's finding the first. Can he find it? Swing again!
What? Left in a 1v3. Make that a 1v2. Make that a 1v1. Oh my goodness, Nitro sell out. And who's gonna stop him?
Hello everyone and welcome back to SCS6. Now, usually I am joined by Bro. Last week I was joined by Blue Panda. This week we've got Benny in the booth with me. Benny, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Hey, you've been switching around many casters, haven't you?
Yes, sir. It's been fun though. It's been fun, and especially, you know, a couple of these games we've been seeing over the last 2 weeks have been an absolute blast. Just yesterday we saw some crazy stuff. We had some drama going on as well, as I'm sure you're all familiar at this point. Of course, Two-Faced Aerial Arise, a game that I think we're going to remember for a little bit. And Aerial Arise, they are not going to let us forget anytime soon.
Yeah, it was a good match overall until we got to the third map. Like, we know, dominating map 1 from Aerial Arise, dominating map 2 from Two-Faced. And then we go on to third map where things go crazy and technical issues galore.
Yeah, Two-Faced, of course, taking the win because Aerial Arise just they just had everything going against them, it seemed, and nobody's really happy about that one on their side of things. Of course, you don't like to see those kind of things happen, but it is what it is, and sometimes your power goes out and sometimes your opponents will claim the victory because of it. But we've got not only that high stakes game that we see yesterday, we are going to see high stakes games throughout this entire week. We've got high stakes games tonight because not only do we have one elimination game to start off the night, we've got a second elimination game. So the loser of both of these matchups, Benny, will be heading home after this in SCS Split 1. Their time is going to be done with.
They're playing for the next match next week. Stay alive till next week, because next week is the decider match. So they got to win today. They got to win next week if they want to go to playoffs, and it's still a long trek.
I mean, that's the beauty with this double elimination format, right? You've got two chances, two opportunities to lose, and you know, when you get that second loss, you are unfortunately going to find yourself sent home. But for those teams who have just won their way through the group stage so far, they haven't had too much of a struggle, and they're not going to. When they get to that decider match, they're gonna have a little bit more calm than well, someone else could. But let's take a look at our bracket here, actually see where we stand starting here in Group A, where we're going to be beginning here tonight with Achieve Esports versus INCONTROL Nation.
Yeah, this should be for all the marbles, at least keep them alive. And even if they win this match, they got to play Aerial Rise next week. And, well, depending what happens, they got to play Aerial Rise. Hopefully, they got to play Aerial Rise. Yeah. We'll see who it is between the two.
Yeah, of course. So Two-Face already guaranteeing their placement. And then that decider will be between Aerial Rise and whoever wins this one. And they will join Two-Face as being those top two members of this A group to move on to that playoff bracket. We can take a look at our leaderboards as well, see, what kind of players have been stepping up. And if you just take a look at this, there is one team dominating, in several different categories. Surf really coming out on top. We had a lot of questions coming into this stage, Benny. Are these T3 teams, these top T3 teams like Surf and Mystic, going to hang in there with some of this incredible CL talent? And I think just looking at this in front of you, I think we have our answer.
Yeah, I'm about to say, Surf, Mystic, they're top most of the boards. Hey, we see some CL teams in there. We see Exile from Aqualix, Silent from Two-Face in the longest talent on the ratings board too. But I definitely agree, seeing Mystic and Surf beat CL team after CL team, last week, this week so far too, it's been an eye-opener on what the amateur scene has in store for us.
Well, speaking of this game tonight, let's take a look at some of these rosters, starting off with, of course, one of these T3 teams who've worked their way through the qualifiers. That's going to be Achieve Esports, a team that came out, and in our first game that they played this stage, they surprised us a good bit against Aerial Arise. Some would have regarded as the strongest team here in SCS6, the highest seeded team in SCS6. They had a good performance against them. Yes, they weren't able to win, but they took them 7-5 on the first map, 8-6 on the second. Not able to pull out the win, but it was close. Can they translate that to this week? That is going to be our question. Can TPA, can Morocco, Riot, Tracken, and Twizzler continue what we saw from them last week? That is going to be of utmost importance. And then from INCONTROL, their side of things, they look a little bit different because they also didn't pull out the win, but Benny, it was not quite as pretty.
Yeah, last week was not a great showing for them. Me and Lynx already had, our, I guess, the recency bias when we casted them in the qualifiers, and then they came back and they won qualifiers, and we're like, okay, they're looking good. But then last week in their first matches, SCS, it didn't look great. Very weak last game against Two-Face. And the question is, how do they recover? How do they bring things back? What does this team do in the meantime between last week and this week to really bring themselves back and actually prove themselves that they can make it to that decider game?
Let's actually take a look, Benny, at a player comparison here, seeing, head to head between these two teams, who are these standout players and who are we going to focus on throughout the day as maybe these players to step up and shine. Of course, that's going to be TPA looking at Dunny here. Now, on the left, TPA, strong rating, 1.12. Cost, also solid 62%, favoring that Zofia on that attacking side. The alibi on the defense, definitely looking a little bit stronger right now than Dunny, who we're seeing play a little bit more of those flex roles. Not quite positive in the KD, but Cost is really where my eyes go into right now, because that is what makes these flex support players so impactful, Benny, is how well they can make their presence felt, not only in the fragging department, but elsewhere. I
definitely agree with that. Interesting, because you said that Dunny's on like the flex row, but that's a very low survival rate though. I guess because they had such a one-sided affair last week against Two-Face, man, that's why the survival is so low. TPA is probably in the entry line a lot of times too. It's why his survival is low too as well. But it's definitely a bit already to see some of those stats. Maybe different playing against not playing against a CL caliber team.
Right. I mean, all the stats are going to be skewed when you only get 3 rounds in a 2-map series. That's never going to look good. Let's actually take a look at what kind of maps we are going to see here tonight. Chalet and Coastline getting taken off the board early. That is not what you like to see, Benny. And, well, I don't think we're going to love the maps we're going to tonight. We've got some pretty typical T3 staples. More, I wouldn't say boring, but we'll say a little bit more slower paced maps of Cafe to start off the night. That's going to be INCONTROL's map pick, Oregon, Achieve heading there. And if we get to map 3, we will be looking at Villa for our decider. So nothing unfamiliar in terms of these map territories, Benny.
Not at all. I guess it's technically an even playing field because these are maps everyone knows how to play in the amateur scene, in any scene really in Siege and NA. So I guess this will be an even playing field. We'll see what team really knows what they're doing on these maps. I'm assuming both know what they're doing, and it's come really to gunfights and really just making sure you have those basics down. You can play your game.
I think right off the bat, it's clear who's favored in this matchup, Benny. We know that Achieve, they are looking on paper, they're looking like the stronger team right now. And that is simply because of their performance last week. Both of these teams got in through the qualifiers, theoretically on even footing to start off week 1. But when they decimate, or when INCONTROL gets decimated and Achieve hangs in there against Aerial Arise, it shows us who is looking stronger and who is not. Now, my prediction up there, going INCONTROL, a little bit confusing. We both went INCONTROL. If I can change my prediction now to Achieve, I will do that. Maybe that can be done on the back end here, because I really do think Achieve are favored right now, just given last week's performance.
I say that too, but we are going to those 3 amateur scene maps you expect them to always go to. So I think there's still a chance though. There's still, still a fighting chance for INCONTROL. I'll stick with my, my prediction here just to be the odd man out here, really, because well, I see odd man out. I feel like a lot of us did actually predict INCONTROL despite last week.
All right. I mean, when you get a matchup like this, I think you said it perfectly, Benny. You have a lot. I mean, there's a lot we don't know. When you have 2 relatively unknown teams, I mean, very unknown teams coming into SCS6, even when they had a performance last week against teams that are maybe more structured or maybe a bit crazier and frag heavy like Two-Faced might be, when they come against each other now, maybe we can throw those expectations out the window a little bit. Obviously, I want to hang on to those a little bit here, because if I'm predicting Achieve, and I think that makes the most sense on paper, but this isn't on paper. These 2 teams, they're going to Cafe. They are going to be actually playing against each other and trying to figure out each other's play style, seeing how this is going to go. And that is kind of where I think a lot of these predictions come from. When you see 2 teams with a lot of unknown elements who don't necessarily have the most time playing together, who really knows what you're going to see in the end of the day?
Very true. Who knows? But I say, talk about Two-Face. I have cast them yesterday too as well. Maybe Two-Face was just that much better because of the playstyle they do. Because we saw from yesterday from Aerial Rise, though, Aerial Rise is that aggressive team. And we saw from Two-Face, actually, they played a lot of good strats. And I'm assuming INCONTROL is still in that same vein of team. So maybe it just was a really bad matchup playstyle-wise last week when it comes to, INCONTROL versus Two-Face. And that's why it was so dominating. Just speculation. Hard to say.
Yeah, I mean, one player I will highlight on the side of In Control is Tak. Someone who's been playing those those frag heavy roles, the Zofia on the attack, more of the Jaeger role on the defense. -2 on the entry, 7 and 15 in the KD overall last week. I never like to, fault a specific player for an outcome of the team, and that is not what I'm trying to do here. But I'm just saying, Tak is one of those players on In Control you really want to have a good day today. And I think if he can step up and, get into that more comfortable fragging role that we're more accustomed to seeing Tak in, that is when I think In Control can open things up. And I think that is where they can find more success. It was troubling statistics for the entire team last week, but even then, you try to get a little bit deeper into that and look at, okay, someone on the entry not doing their job on the entry, not making the space in the map that they need, those kind of things. They've had a week to work on it. Maybe they've had enough time to work out those kinks and put Tak in a better position, give him more of a comfortable spot to do his job well.
Yeah, I guess with that happening and that not working well, maybe they'll change roles too, maybe. But changing roles of the week is kind of difficult too as well, especially if you've scrimmed a lot with that same role. So I do agree. Maybe they've worked some things out. Maybe they're working to put Tak in better positions, or maybe they'll just change roles and have Tak play a different role entirely. Hard to say. Achieve, though, what do you think they need to do to change things up, though, compared to last week?
I think it's going to be a bit more about consistency for them. I loved, frankly, what I saw from them last week, especially out of, it was TPA, Twizzler, and Tracken, who really caught my eye. That, trio was exceptional, especially when it came down to dealing with the playstyle that Aerial Arise was throwing at them, right? We saw a game, I believe we saw one map of Chalet, we saw the other map of Clubhouse, and starting out on Chalet, on a map that you expect a team like Aerial Arise to kind of just tear it up and really, make a team like Achieve struggle on more unknown territory. Achieve held their own, and I was really impressed how those players, specifically Tracken, who really played well, who played exceptional in the post plant and denied a lot of really what looked like put together retake efforts on the side of Aerial Arise. I loved what we saw from them. Keep on doing the same thing for them this week against In Control, and I think they will find success. If they allow In Control to exploit those weaknesses, maybe we'll see a different story here. But frankly, I loved what I saw from them last week, and I want to see them continue that.
Hey, so just keeping those bases down, keeping that style that they've created. But hey, unfortunately right now we're running into some technical issues with some of the players, so we gotta take a quick break while they figure things out and get in the lobby. So it'll be a quick 3-minute break while we wait for these players to figure things out, get in the lobby, and we'll start this game up on Cafe soon. So stay tuned.
Welcome to the NerdStreet Winter Championships, featuring SCS6, a yearly open tournament series hosting the best players and teams North America has to offer, culminating in a community favorite, the Pro-Am. So let's discuss format. During the Winter Champs season, SCS6 will consist of 2 stages, where each stage begins with 2 open qualifiers. Once Stage 1 is complete, there will be an additional tournament offering 1 more qualification spot prior to Stage 2. Through participating in SCS6, players will acquire leaderboard points and cash prizing. The winning teams from Stage 1 and 2, as well as the additional tournament, will qualify for the Pro-Am. The top 2 teams from the leaderboard will also qualify. As we approach the end of the season, the final qualification spot will be determined through a last chance qualifier. The grand finals of the Winter Champs SCS6 will feature the return of the Pro-Am, where the top amateur teams have an opportunity to define their talent against the North American Pro League. But in the end, only one team will be crowned Winter Champs. Sign up today and make history.
Oh, I love the smell of a cup of joe in the morning. With roach... Oh, hello!
A letter has arrived, sir.
A letter. For me. You have been cordially invited to compete in the 2022 Winter Championships.
Wow.
Featuring multiple game titles, competitive leaderboards, over 25,000 in prize money, and glory. By golly, time to get some headshots. What a perfect time to tell a story. Gather round, everyone, and hear the tale of the NerdStreet Winter Championships. There once was a tournament during the season of snow. filled with contenders of might, with names Deez, Ligma, and Joe. Players rose from their beds, from the east to the west, to compete and prove which players were best. Through weeklies and monthlies, the hype did climb, as soon came the grand finals. Locations in due time. Aspiration and community was preached to the masses. Amateurs became legends, Mavics supporting their...
I was gonna say glasses.
The road was a trying one, wrists aching with cramps. In the end, victors rose. We call them Winter Champs. Before they departed, they left us these words. Our journey's just begun. All thanks to the nerds. Oh, how I love that story. I think we will compete. What do you say, Cheeves?
I can compete, sir.
I suppose better bring the KD up. And you should too. After all, if you're a competitor, this is the circuit for you.
Seconds left. It's gonna come down.
Favor making a third as he looks up. Making a finds the draw three. Stunning here from.
As we are waiting on one more player to just get in this lobby here, a few more seconds, hopefully, before we can start this one off. Gave our map pool another quick look. As a reminder, we'll be heading to Cafe, Oregon, and Villa. We've only actually saw one of these maps played by either of these teams last week, and it was Oregon, played by INCONTROL. We saw Achieve, they played Clubhouse, they played Chalet. INCONTROL, they also played Chalet for one of their other maps, but we haven't really seen how either of these two teams are going to stack up on Cafe, how they're going to stack up on Villa. So, Benny, I'm interested to see how this one's going to go. Maybe we'll get some new insight into these teams as well.
We've seen INCONTROL and Cafe during the qualifiers.
Okay, so I'm in the qualifier. All right.
Yeah, that's one that me and Lynx casted against French & Co, who are now Aero Academy.
Aha.
It was the one where nobody won an attacking round.
That's a terrible Cafe. That is not what we like to see. We are going to be getting into our operator bans now. So hopefully, maybe we're in store for a little bit more of an exciting Cafe than just a simple 6-0 defensive side to kick things off. Getting out here, we've got our Thatcher ban right off the board. That is not going to shake anything up at all. Now, this second attacker ban in recent weeks, we have seen a lot of the Flores, but this is also where you can fit something else in, like those hard breachers. But no, it is going to be that Flores, in fact.
That makes sense too, especially with the shields and pixel shields in places where you can't destroy them from below. You have to use grenades. Having that Flores can be a powerful tool to, bypass ADSs, bypass disc. Valkyrie ban next, not surprising. You can throw them outside, you can throw them anywhere in the building, and it gives you a ton of advantage on the defense. Mirror probably gonna be the last one. Really, that's how it is in this amateur scene. Usually, they're not gonna change up the band usually, except for that maybe that one that one attacker band that could be something different per se.
Yeah, the mirror just adds so many steps for the attackers to actually have to get done. It makes attacking these sites just exponentially more difficult. So I do like to see, personally, when that mirror is taken off the board, you don't have to deal with those annoying black mirrors, even though you can, run up to them and melee them now and shatter the glass and make it a little bit easier to work around. And theoretically, you don't always have to go through that full annoying process of clearing it all out. But more often than not, a mirror window can make or break the round for an attacking or defensive team. So glad to see her off the board, and well, glad to see that we are starting things off in a more unusual bomb site, Benny. We're actually going to be kicking things off with a mining and dining defense rather than any of the other bomb sites that we've grown a lot more accustomed to.
Yeah, I would say I haven't casted a mining, fireplace, mining, dining defense in a while, actually. And usually because of the fact that, again, it's having firm control of piano, or the fact that if you have control, if you can at least clear up piano, gain control of that red stairs, open up in the site, and then just either, deny, plant, deny, rotates through the windows, or if there's some other angle, it can be very easy to get that bomb down for the attackers. So really, based on Achieve now, Achieve have to basically control that piano for as long as possible, and make sure that he uses those vertical pressure against the attackers if they were to get into into mining, if it is going to be a mining execute. Depends here. Usually that's why we don't see this bomb site all that often. But we'll see how Achieve do it here, as they're going to be the ones defending this. And of course, they're setting up in piano. They're setting up a defense upstairs in Cigar as well. So they're trying to even use some of those Cigar defenses you see on that top floor for this site.
Well, also for the attacking side, this site opens itself up to a lot of potential rush attempts, right? You just jump on through that mining window and bam, you're in the site and you can get aggressive. And I mean, Dunny is playing the Finca, so that option is theoretically still on the board for In Control. I don't expect them to be doing that. They're probably going to take a bit more of a controlled approach, especially because you take a look at the amount of soft breach that this team has at their disposal. You see Badger bringing out the skeleton key on the Buck. You've got Tack on the Zofia again. I mean, you've got so many elements that would work well for a full top-down clear, and it does appear that In Control will be getting things off and starting things in kind of the way you would expect.
Well, so far they're on those windows by piano. Members also going towards the cocktail side as well. Most of the defense are pushing towards or on that, piano side, though. You see good intel coming through, seeing one by pillars. He's got pre-fired heavy damage onto Riot. Great intel and great pre-fire there from the Finca of Dunny. So heavy damage onto them. Morocco elsewhere taken down by Taka. They've made the drop into bar. They've gotten their first control. Can they solidify it by pushing further into piano?
I mean, they're working their way up, and they're doing so rather aggressively. TPA, he will narrowly escape and actually get back down the white stairs, and Riot, in the meantime, will pick up a good kill onto Dunny. That is actually very big because, I mean, Riot was already low on HP, 1 HP essentially to his name, still able to win that fight against the Finca, and losing your Finca, I would say this is still pretty early in the round, not where In Control would like to be. They still have all the soft destruction I talked about, but now they're going to be limited on time, and they're not going to have that, well, the health assist that the Finca normally allows.
Well, so far they've gained control part of the top floor, but it seems like most of the defenders now have rotated back down with only a minute left. That should allow for now In Control to go to work, open the floor up, and try to create an execute off of it. They still have some heart breaching to use to try and push the way into sight, but a C4 from below from Twizzler will make it that much more difficult. They haven't used that soft breaching quite enough, and the main person to do it would be Badger on the Buck, who's now dead for them. So can they still get this execute off, opening up into reading, or into, I mean, not reading, into mining or dining. Goddamn, I can't get the one right. But so they're gonna push to open up and maybe push through white stairs instead of going for mining.
I mean, yeah, put so much focus into the soft breach, but it's going to be those X-Kairos pellets, the hard breach from Serve that is going to open up, looks like, the opportunities here for In Control. But they still have a lot of work to do, and there's a couple of defenders they just haven't quite put their finger on. They don't have under wraps, and that's going to be a problem if they don't deal with this in a moment. I mean, you have TPA still playing here by this mining hall, the museum entrance, and it's actually going to be Riot to strike first. Again, a double kill onto Serve for him. Reaper strikes back and gets one, but Tracken will make his presence found as well. Reaper now gets another, but it's going to be all up to him, and simply there is no time to work with. Achieve pulling out a more unorthodox site seemed to work wonders against an In Control team that just didn't know the best way to approach that site. We saw them flounder upstairs, and it got the better of them.
Yeah, I would say they started off getting that control. They started off getting aggressive, just jumping down into bar, taking fights. They get the first pick on Morocco. It's traded out, though, as soon as they try to push further in. And by the time they really take that control of top floor, it's only a minute left. And a C4 from below denies the Buck of Badger from like doing his job. And from that point, because you don't have the soft breach potential, because you don't have the, the quick, efficient way of using a Buck, you have to use hard breachers or soft breachers, you then have to try to rotate to a different take. And you saw that was going to go for a dining push instead. But again, they hadn't cleared reading. They hadn't cleared the cross angles for a dining plan. So they go ahead and try to do that. And unfortunately, they don't have quite the intel to know where these defenders are at. They're walking into crossfires by the defenders, walking to angles. They don't know where they are and losing most of those fights. And unfortunately, then at that point, it's only 1 or 2 players trying to make up in the comparison. It was a 1-2 at the end there. It was, Reaper to get 2 picks, bring it close to end there for his team, but he still has to get 2 more to even get close to winning it.
That's kind of the pace of the round we typically expect on a more unusual bomb site that attacking teams, many just aren't used to attacking, right? In Control, it seemed like they had no real idea of how they wanted to approach that site. I mean, they had some rough structure of that attack. They knew that they wanted to enter through that top floor. They wanted to get that, white stairs facing wall open of dining as soon as they could, but getting those steps done, it took a long time. They're probably not as practiced on that bomb site. And that's exactly what Achieve were trying to exploit. And I think what they did very effectively. That's a perfect way to start off this map, really establishing that you understand this map better than your opponents, that you're going to come out and you're going to start things off well. Achieve have done that. And they're now moving downstairs to kitchen to see what they can do and continue that success.
Well, so far last time, in Control, they didn't have quite the roam clear they wanted to. They got the first opening pick, though, so they had started out well when it came to that round. Can they do it again here on this kitchen defense, as we're going to see members of Achieve upstairs, the Vigil, the Mozzie, of course, playing around, just wasting time, wasting intel. Of course, there's already a Mozzie pest in the way for MX Reaper. He's got to shoot 2 pests, actually, I think, on that door, was it? That's kind of crazy. Or maybe he just didn't shoot anyway. But Mozzie here playing inside of Radiant's TPA, waiting for something, and Twizzler, elsewhere, Traken as well, getting a good C4 onto red. Nobody's there, actually, so kind of an early C4 with no intel. Those roll back down. So far, they're just kind of wasting time, waiting for INCONTROL to push in. And so far, I don't know what exactly. No, they're actually in finally. Donnie's made his way into piano. They're clearing it out slowly but surely.
Yeah, top floor control looks like that has been secured. Everyone from Achieve backed off and is playing more passively on this second floor instead. This hold is going to be, it looks like 3 people are holding it right now. You'll have Traken, your Thunderbird. You'll have TPA. You'll have Twizzler as well. All positioning on this second floor, trying to delay this clear as long as possible. That's why Reaper is bringing out the Jackal, to speed this clear up. 90 seconds, though, have already transpired. And, well, he's still trying to scan and get the location of these last few defenders. He'll spot out TPA, and he'll now be pressured out heavily, but Twizzler is still nearby to support. Unfortunately, could not support TPA as he rotated back through dining, and, well, the first pick once again will be found for INCONTROL.
Well, at least they get 1 pick on that roam clear, so they have now a minute or so now to just go to work, open up this floor, and see if they can now transition into an actual execute. What I'm assuming at this point Achieve are playing towards, towards bakery, towards positions where you're not going to get, pressured by this vertical control. As Trake and 2 members here are playing bakery. Nobody's playing VIP, though. They're actually not anybody towards that east side of the map. It's all mainly towards bakery. So I wonder if this point will Achieve get aggressive and try and retake some of this control on top floor, or will they rotate if it goes towards, a freezer take? Because they have someone ready inside of VIP maybe, but it looks like INCONTROL actually going for bakery first. Morocco's getting heavy damage, but he takes out Dunny in return with that 81 bullets in the LMG.
Well, it looks like Achieve, they're going to be covering this entire first floor because they know INCONTROL. They're approaching from several different angles right now. Now, the good thing here is you've got a lot of options, but the problem is you are limited and stretched for time. Badger gets 1 to bring things back a little bit, but he doesn't know Twizzler is lurking around the other side. It is going to be all up to Tack, and in 1 versus 3, 5 seconds left. He'll deal with 1, but this one is not looking too good. 1 second to get in the bomb site, get the bomb down, and that is simply not going to be allowed to happen. Once again, Achieve are exploiting that clock. INCONTROL seem to be oddly flustered on that attack, an attack that they should be very comfortable on at this point, and they just were not able to get anything done.
And unfortunately, too, one of the members on Achieve has backed out or maybe disconnected, so we're in a bit of a timeout waiting for a return. Here he is, back in the game. TPA is returned. But that round, yeah, you would hit the nail on the head there. Just time is the factor here. INCONTROL, they had a roam clear. They got a kill off of it, but that left them a minute left to really do things. And it was Badger then opening the floor up, and nobody from INCONTROL elsewhere was really pushing anything else until like 30 seconds left, until there was no time really available to make the push happen. You saw 2 members try to push bakery. You saw them push red at those, last minute, last 30 seconds, and they were just walking into fires that the defenders were just waiting for at that point. And because there's no drones, there's only like 3 drones left for that point too. They didn't even know where the defenders were when pushing these angles like bakery, like small bake, into prep. And at that point, it's just members. You saw, of course, the LMG just killing members on pushing through bakery. You saw one member inside of Traken inside of small bake, just denying a player pushing down red, as well as the person in coach check. So unfortunately, INCONTROL not only is time the issue, but it's intel when it comes to those dying moments too, because they're just losing drones when trying to clear these members early on in the round.
I got to admit, Benny, I gave INCONTROL the benefit of the doubt in that first round because it's an unusual bomb site. And the reason they looked flustered, right, it could be because they're not used to attacking it. But I don't know if I can look past the fact that they looked just as confused on a bomb site that they have seen every time they've played this map, right?
I told you they didn't win any attack rounds last time they played this.
Yeah,
at least
like,
on the open qualifiers.
I just don't quite understand what their approach was there. And when they went for that execute, right? I mean, Ned never really got that point in the round. They never really went for a full execute, but they started to apply some pressure to bakery way too late in the round after working so hard on a top-down clear that usually means you're going to be building pressure from elsewhere. Maybe Whiskey Bar is going to be your focus and VIP is going to be your focus, and taking that freezer hall like that is going to be your approach. If you're going to take all of that map control and then do nothing with it, it was a little bit puzzling to see, and that's something that INCONTROL are going to have to remedy as soon as possible, because 2 rounds in, the same troubling pattern emerging, and once Achieve catch on, if they haven't already, things are going to get even worse because they can continue to exploit the clock here. So keep an eye out INCONTROL, because those 2 rounds, you got to shake that off, and you just got to get a move on here.
Well, so far, it looks to be a different take. We usually see teams push that piano side, but because of Pixel and how difficult it is, it looks like Achiever going for a cocktail take here. So the windows are going to be important. Using that vertical control by, the buck or the grenades to deal damage to shields or, push out defenders, and cocktail is going to be vital for, INCONTROL this round. Badger will attack elsewhere against Twizzler, actually. So that's one place on the board. That's C4 gone from the defense. And now we'll see Dunny throw grenades, trying to get some kills on members inside a cocktail. Nobody so far. We should see Badger go to work and open the floor and push them out. And so now people on the windows, we need to see members of INCONTROL on the windows to further push them out, try and get picks, and make sure that these defenders aren't in a position to stop them if they were to repel in or go up white stairs.
INCONTROL, the one thing they have done well is getting these opening kills. They've done it now 3 rounds in a row. Again, they haven't done much with it, but at least that's something. And you've removed the Goyo, you've taken a C4 off the board theoretically, but other than that, Twizzler has already done his job. But here comes Tack, trying to just get around the rest of this utility, and it is going to work. Taking down Track and Serve, picking up TPA in the meantime here, and it's just going to be Morocco, it's just going to be Riot left to defend, well, this entire bomb site by themselves, and INCONTROL are not going to allow that to happen. They will steamroll their way up the white stairs, and Reaper will be the one credited with that final kill. But I mean, I talk about timing issues. INCONTROL, they just decided to throw caution into the wind and just run up the stairs, go as fast as possible, and this time it worked, Benny.
I would say, I think the big thing is the fact that they get that opening pick, and then they have someone below, make sure that nobody can take a fight onto, one person. I think it was Tack jumping through the heaven window, through that, that cocktail balcony window. And that's kind of the big thing. If you get control of cocktail balcony over heaven, you have to just cut off all of cocktail, and from there you can make sure nobody really rotates back in the site. Nobody can really rotate towards white stairs, and the white stairs members can then walk up the stairs heavily, just take a fight on one angle, which is that bathroom piano side. And that was big on control. That was a much better round when it came to what the game plan was. Like I said before, they looked confused in those other rounds when it came to trying to figure out what the plan was, but I think this time INCONTROL had a solid plan and they executed well. And the question is, can they keep doing that though?
Well, at least one element that I'm a fan of here, Benny, is Tack on the Zofia. 5-1 right now. He was a player that I highlighted right before we got into the matchup as somebody who had a very troubling performance last week against Two-Faced and needed to step things up, especially on that entry. And already seeing Tack make this improvement, that is really good to see. And it does bode well for INCONTROL down the line. Plus, I mean, they already got their first attacking round here. And on a map that, like you said, Benny, we have seen at least INCONTROL play, and it's been quite defensive-sided. That's theoretically half of the rounds they really need to get on this attack. They're going to be looking to get at least 2, but 2 would also just get the job done here, and that's their mission. They're going to head into round number 4, just trying to secure another round. They're, of course, going to have to attack mining and dining once again, a site that we saw how heavily they struggled last time. So now, despite making some good adjustments and speeding things up in the last round, we have to see how they can make adjustments on a site that we know they've struggled on in the past.
Yeah, last time they were able to get the opening pick this round, but they couldn't convert the opening pick into real control over the site. And by the time they actually took control, that was when Achieve had conceded to them at that point, gave them that control. And at that point, it was Achieve just waiting on site for them to just push down towards that second floor and push toward the site. And they were waiting ready. And it was Reaper who the one that even brought it to close one as a 1v2 in the end for him to try and, push that fight. Oh my god, again, a drop this time. Tack is the same thing as he did the first round, but hey, Achieve this time are more aware of it. They're definitely a lot smarter. Another kill for Reaper, though. He takes out TPA and a jump out from the member track, and he'll go down to Dunny, as Dunny was well aware of that, and Reaper gets a second for his trouble. He'll take out Morocco, but Twizzler's there. Try and bring things back. It's 3v2, and still, but there's quite a bit of time for INCONTROL to still win this out.
Yeah, what a bizarre start to this round. It seemed that it was going well for Achieve. They got the opening pick onto Tack, and then literally they throw themselves out of windows in an effort to get other kills. And, well, that is not generally going to be a good pattern for success. We saw a track and fall to that bizarre decision, and it was aggressive, and had he connected with those few shots, it would have been a successful, and I would have probably complimented that play. But, of course, couple of missed bullets quickly change the course of the round, and, well, they'll dictate the success of that play. But now with under just about a minute to go, this is still not out of the question for Achieve to pull off this defense, but INCONTROL, they are now the ones in the upper hand. Not to mention, we just saw that C4 from Twizzler get burned and wasted. That is a piece of utility that he was really gonna wish he had back, especially a man down going into the latter half of this round when you know INCONTROL are gonna be gearing up and going for this push. You still have all these players on INCONTROL. They're on this top floor. They're working their way down, trying to establish a couple of avenues onto this bomb site, and they are very close for building up to a proper execute. It's just about deciding, are they going to push from this red stair side, or is it going to be something of that white hall push? I think we have our answer. Dunny, from those red positioned over on New Balk, takes down Riot, a good angle into reading room. That means Twizzler is left alone and has to worry about 3 players bearing down from all sides. Serve now, going for this plant. Twizzler sees somebody and has some pings to work with. Good flick, and a good headshot is found, but now it's a post plant, and he's got to find 2 more. Couple of shots through the wall will reveal one attacker's position. Not to mention, he's got some red pings to work with, and he'll spot the player just stepping around the corner. But now he's got to make a move, and he's got to figure out exactly where he wants to take this fight, and he's got to get aggressive. 30 seconds or less to go, and he needs to get a move on. Too timid right now to take this gunfight. Dunny doing a great job of wasting time. Twizzle whip out the shotgun, go for the wide swing, and down Dunny. Only one more now with Serve in the middle of the red train. Not the easiest angle to fight because he's got to crouch through this hole. Serve will miss a couple of bullets, but eventually pulling it out, and INCONTROL will continue that success. That is 2 rounds in a row.
Yeah, that was scary at the end there, but not much better time when it comes to the, I guess I wouldn't even say roam clear, because it was INCONTROL who didn't get the first pick. It was Twizzler on Achieve who did it. They read into the fact that Tack last time jumped down bar into bar from the skylight. They kill him this time. They deny Tack from getting the opening pick. But then from there, like you were talking before, Achieve then get aggressive. They start taking fights. It was also MX Reaper taking kills on the piano as well. But you saw, one player from Achieve jump out a window, tries to go for a kill. I think it was Strake, and I can't remember who it was. But they jump out a window, they lose that fight. MX Reaper pushes their way into Cigar, pushes their way in the piano, takes 2 kills of his own. And at that point, it's a 2v3 at that point for Achieve. And like you said, bro, that C4 could have been what made it a 2v2, made it possible. But unfortunately, it goes to waste. And then a good read from INCONTROL, knowing that they have that angle from reading all the way towards the red hall. They're watching that angle. They deal with one of the players of Riot playing reading. And from that point, it's a 1v3. He's got to try and deny those plays. He gets 1 pick, but it's a post plant. He's got to run and find these kills. He's a bit too timid, doesn't know where they are. So he's kind of just looking, just pre-firing, trying to find kills. Does down Dunny, but he gets finished off in the end. And that's a win. 2-2, tied up INCONTROL.
10 seconds remaining.
Well, they've done their job, as I said. Looking to get those 2 rounds in a row, and they have done that on their attacking side, so now they can attack with a little bit more confidence and a little bit more comfort, knowing that, well, worst case scenario, they already got the 2 rounds that they need. But now, once again, we have to see how they make a couple of adjustments, right? They've got to approach this first floor, this kitchen site, and they've got to, yes, work against this Achieve defense, but they have to find a way to make sure the clock is not going to be a problem. And I already like a little bit of what we're seeing, at least a couple of, bullets, a little bit of pressure being applied from Reaper towards that first floor, but quickly it appears that INCONTROL will indeed go for the full top down, working their way from the roof into this third floor. That's going to be their first effort. And once again, they've got several roamers to deal with. It's Twizzler, it's TPA, it's Tracken. Those three players hoping to hold off this attack as long as they can and waste as much time as they can.
Yeah, last time big thing was that time. They were down to maybe 30 seconds to really make the execute happen after they cleared the top two floors with a minute left, but then they go to vertical. They try opening up the floor to try and find members of Achieve, but members of Achieve at that point in the last minute are playing horizontally. They're playing in Bakery, playing by Whiskey, playing Coat Check. But Reaper will start off once again on this round. Actually, last one, yeah, he was able to be the first pick last time onto TPA, but now it's on a Shranken that get that first pick. And now the members of Achieve will drop down faster after losing a member, and that should give more time to InControl to open up their vertical pressure and really figure out what their plan is. Because Jay-Z said before, it was very confusing on what they were doing, maybe because it was lack of drones last time, but they just kind of walked into Bakery with no information and just tried to take fights, and they lost most of those fights.
Well, InControl right now, I mean, they are doing what they do best, and that is getting the opening pick. Now it is just about translating what they've got, the map control they have, and transitioning that into an execute, a genuine execute. That is what I want to see from them here. Not a crazy amount of frags, not just sitting above on these, head holes and just trying to get a couple of kills, but, dropping a couple of smokes in. Reaper has 2 of those in pocket. You've got 4 flashes still to work with. You've got the Finka. You can gear up for a coordinated push. That is what we want to see in these last 50 seconds.
Well, so far it looks like they are maybe eyeing for a freezer drop, so VIP does need to be cleared. Reaper's looking towards VIP for the second. I think they have information on the Malusi of Riot Air. They destroy one of the Banshees over by the white door, and Riot does hear that, so he's aware that someone's on white. Throws a grenade, but the timing, he hears the pin. Is he swinging? He swings at the perfect time, and there it goes. Riot takes out Dunny. Is there a refrag? The member of them attacks, just pre-fires through the benches. Great kill. Reaper gets 2-0 in the Whiskey. That's a triple kill for Reaper. Now it's on to Morocco in a 1v4 to try and bring it back. He has the all in hand. 81 bullets could do it all, but it's 4 members in control. Do they know where he is? They're going to walk through the double door. Serv's going to bring planting, and there it is. He's been flashed, actually. You can't actually see from the cam. The plant's going to go down. Now it's a post plant for Morocco. What does it even matter? Attack will finish him off.
That's another good round from InControl. I can't quite figure out what Achieve are doing wrong. I mean, it just feels like they're getting a bit aggressive on the defensive side. Even on this round here, couple of early picks they did not need to give up to InControl, especially, one onto Tracken, who was holding down that second floor. But then when it came down to the VIP and Whiskey Bar presence, InControl, Reaper specifically, just tore that apart. Normally, that first floor extension is something that attacking teams struggle to clear out. And just the first 2 rounds, the way we saw InControl approach those, I would expect them to struggle with that clear as well. But they did it crazy fast. And it wasn't like we saw a utility dump or a coordinated, ridiculous push. It was somebody lost their life on the white stairs, and 2 teammates just said, okay, screw it, let's jump in and try to get that trade. Tack did that, taking out Riot and VIP, and then Reaper just storms down the brown stairs and just takes care of the 2 players that were hoping to support that VIP player. Really good job there from InControl, especially to pivot after losing one player in that initial gunfight to Riot, just pushing down. I think it was Dunny pushing down those stairs, who just, like you said, Benny, kind of got timinged of, he was holding that angle and then he wasn't because he was cooking that nade instead. But those kind of moments, bringing it back like InControl was able to do, that is a good sign, and it shows that maybe they're learning how to attack this map a little bit better. They're starting to figure out what Achieve are throwing at them.
Yeah, sometimes being aggressive and just taking the moment, you have to go with the flow sometimes and just take fights at that point too. There wasn't a whole lot of utility stopping them, so they didn't really have a problem walking those brown stairs. But Reaper entirely, he's been getting opening picks. He's been getting multi-kills these rounds too. He's been quite the mid-round killer, hasn't he? He's 9-2 at the moment. My God. So we'll see if he can do it once again. We're on back to this kitchen defense. Like, that's going upstairs actually, but we're actually going back to retry of the kitchen. C4 thrown out, actually gets shot by a member InControl, so that C4 be wasted by Achieve. And now with that start once again, can they get this opening pick once again to start them off and then go towards that bottom floor? I wonder if Achieve are going to stay here longer, or they the sign of pressure, or are they just going to back off and not try to keep themselves alive for that mid to end round?
Well, Achieve should know at this point, they've won 2 rounds because InControl have struggled with the clock. Exploit that, right? Don't allow yourself to be taken off the board so early. Even if you have to give up this roam maybe a little bit earlier than you would like, sometimes you just gotta take the L, at least in terms of the roam, get yourself back to the bomb site and fight on site in a 5v5 because you know you have the advantage in that situation. But in Control, what they're doing right now is a brilliant cut off of this roam. It's not a traditional top-down clear. It's expedited, and it is beautiful. Great shot from Reaper that's double killing this round, hitting double digits. Tack joins him, getting another kill, and Riot is going to fall as well. That's a double kill for Tack, a double kill for Reaper, all of it on this roam. I asked Achieve to maybe play a little bit more passively, and they did the complete opposite. Instead, every single player died off the site, trying to maintain control of the second floor. A poorly conceived defensive attempt, and In Control are more than happy to not only take that round, but secure a 4-2 attacking half. Benny, what a way to turn things around.
4 rounds in a row, and the fact that we talked about, intel was kind of an issue in his earlier rounds, and you saw during the round, intel was perfect for In Control. They were droning out every single roamer, and you saw every single roamer get executed on every single time. That is quite a turnaround when it comes to gameplay in a half that I've seen, really. So great job to In Control, and like you said, they're now 2 rounds ahead from their attacking half. Now they're on defense. Either A, this is going to be an attacking side of Cafe, or In Control are about to end this game. This is their map too, so maybe they're going to end this map dominantly, and we're going to go on to Achieve's map pick.
I mean, Achieve are the ones now who are going to have to figure out something to do on this attacking side, right? They've been forced into maybe a situation that they like. Hey, maybe they're a attacker team on Cafe, but I don't know. I think it's unlikely. They came out and they chose the defensive side. That is where they wanted to begin, and In Control have punished them for it. In Control, this is their map, like you said, Benny, so no wonder they're a little bit more comfortable here. We haven't seen this map from Achieve yet, and well, I think we're starting to learn why. It looked like those first 2 defense were looking strong, but since then they just haven't been able to counter any of the adaptations that In Control have made in their direction. So good to see from In Control, but Achieve, it's now their turn to switch things around. We can take some of the lessons we learned from that previous half, maybe throw them out the window a little bit here, and
I know this strat already.
Yeah, see what they're going to do here, Benny.
This is where Reaper got his ace last time when they played the French Inco game. He plays cave, or the cave or the single wall right there, and a double wall into red. He plays the angle towards the hatch and then shoots them when they drop red. It's like you can see the red hatch from that angle.
Ah, very nice.
He got ace from there last time, just sitting in that position the entire round.
We'll see what he does this time, right? I mean, he is in pillar. He is in the position to challenge that angle if he needs, and he's got some support, right? I mean, he's got Dunny on the pulse.
Yeah, I hope that they know this and they're not going to walk into it. It looks like, they are aware of this, and they're actually going for a different push. There's 2 members on white. Reaper will hear this, and he's going towards white, but he also has a member at the northeast door, right below that, cocktail balcony. So in this trade, it looks like the members on Achieve are trying to clear out these 2 people, or 3 people actually downstairs. So there's 3 members, or actually no, there's 2 members on the defense who are roaming on the second floor. They're looking to clear them out. Do they have the proper intel? Attack in cocktail has gone down.
Oh, well, Dunny, he spots him. All he's got to do is whip out this gun and pre-fire, but he is not quite looking the right way. Twiz hasn't quite advanced all that far up the white stairs that Dunny thought he was a little bit closer, but not going to go so well for the defense, at least in that first engagement, but 2 more quickly going their way. Dunny will respond and actually get a kill after not being able to secure the first one. Twizzler will be cut down, as will TPA, but Dunny has been removed in response. So it's still a 3v4. Achieve on the back foot, but not out of the question. Riot, he knows there's someone lurking around the other side of the wall. It's going to be Reaper, and he's going to do the ring around the Rosie, and he is going to secure a double kill on the round. He's looking for another, but Morocco is there to secure the trade. So still within 1, but still a disadvantage for Achieve.
And so far, the issue now here is the fact that In Control, Achieve had spent all that time roam clearing. They haven't done any real damage on the site. They haven't opened any walls. They haven't gained any real control. So now they're going to spend the last minute, the last 40 seconds gaining control of other parts of the site. Would be clearing Pixel. And actually, nobody's playing Pixel because they actually full reinforced. So they're all waiting by freezers to deny the push into bar. Morocco can go to work to try to open these walls, but I'm assuming there's probably no, actually there's no denial. So you can get the walls open, but it's probably not enough time to really even do that.
Well, also, in control, they've got a ton of intel to work with. Surf still has these Echo drones. He knows exactly where these attackers are pushing from, and they know exactly how to avoid these gunfights. They know they don't have to get aggressive and take these fights. Achieve with 10 seconds left. They are the ones that have to push and get aggressive, and Serve is looking right towards them. They're constantly being pinged. Badger has a shotgun. Tack will swing with the 416, and in control will make quick work of round number 7. They will continue to establish this lead. Now it's a 3-round margin, 5-2 for in control.
Well, Reaper didn't get ace this time playing that position, but he still gets a 2K still, and on top of, helping Dunny, helping him on the pulse, they still get a 3K on that roam. In control, play a great roam, and it's Achieve who walk right into it. They walk into wasting their entire 2 minutes trying to deal with these two roamers, and by the time they actually deal with the two, there's 40 seconds to actually make a move, and nobody from Achieve had even gone and started even opening up, pushing into piano, taking control of white, opening the floor up inside of reading. There was no damage done to the site. So when it comes to the push, at that point they just gotta walk up red, push through piano, walk through a banshee, try to push their way into maybe even a setup they have no clue what's going on even with.
Well, a timeout here from Achieve. It is good to see that they know something is going wrong, right? They know they've got to take 60 seconds to address whatever their problems have been on the defensive side, now on the attacking side, and just shake those off as soon as possible. I thought they were going to come in and they were going to be the dominant force, but in control have, well, really made me eat my words, especially in my prediction that I changed on the fly. It is just map 1, but it is so far a dominant map 1 for in control. After a very good attacking half, it's now a strong defensive start, especially on Bar and Cocktail, a site that we saw Achieve struggle with defending and actually avoided defending it the second time just because it went so clearly in control's favor. But now it looks like we'll be going to Reading Room and Fireplace next as soon as we get back from this timeout. That's where in control are electing to defend, and we're going to see a similar lineup from them. And on the attacking side from Achieve, this is where I want to focus. I want to see what changes they are going to make. And frankly, I'm not exactly sure what we're going to see, at least in terms of the operator selection. We've got nothing crazy. We've got the Finka coming out from TPA. We've got Tracken on the Nomad. Twizzler still sticking the sledge. So that's not where they're going to make the changes. Maybe we're going to see those changes made in their playstyle and how they want to approach this.
Yeah, I think, well, you didn't really see much of you didn't see quite a successful roam clear last round. So maybe having that Nomad to try and stop any rotates and stop any aggression from in control. But really, it's there was some aggression, but it just came down not really figuring out where those roamers were at. So we'll see how they do it. But we got to see if they can actually clear this top floor, gain control of Cocktail. We have 2 soft breachers, so they have a bit of redundancy there if someone on Twizzler or Riot dies early, and they just need to try and use that vertical pressure, push their way on the site, and more than anything, just get in the building, gain control top floor, and take those fights. And well, maybe MX Reaper, he was using the Jackal, maybe a Jackal would help here. But really, when it comes to this roam at top floor, they don't really see a lot of movement per se. It's just setting up those, those bunker style defenses on certain parts of that top floor.
Well, we saw how Achieve used this top floor well in the very first round of the map. It is.
Oh boy.
Heck yeah. Hey, you got a drone. That's something. Always good to see the F12. But what I was saying there is we saw how good Achieve was on the defensive side on the very first round. They knew how to lock down this top floor, right? At least to some extent. Which makes me hope that they know how to approach this on the attacking side, or at least they know what they need to get done when it's approaching Cocktail. One thing they know for sure is they need to do this expeditiously. They've got to get in there quick, because if you don't, you're going to have the same time struggles that In Control did on their half, and what you might start doing if you're not careful. So they'll start things off with this top down and at least trying to figure out what they're dealing with, but they're dealing with some presence in piano itself. This is an aggressive position from Tack. We're also seeing some aggression from Reaper, who gets that opener. And
is this
we're going to have to see how it works.
Ooh.
Oh my god, it was.
He just shot it from Sky. He just peeks Skylit and wins it. What the? What a shot from Reaper. And this is the big thing, like you're talking about, being able to deal. Actually, wait, with that kill, are they just dropping off the top floor? Is that wise? To just,
they've
off
lost
one kill, just leave for the most part?
They still have a sledge, right? So if they didn't have a sledge, I'd say, well, why take top floor at this point? Because you can't establish the vertical play anyway. True. But they do have a sledge. So I think they're actually going to head back upstairs, and maybe think twice about that.
So maybe they dropped off knowing they killed their soft breacher, thinking that's the only soft breacher they have, but they still have the sledging sword too. So it depends here. They still have the FO12 below, so they could try to still shotgun the sledge as he opens the floor later on in the round when they start doing that vertical pressure. And Reaper still playing top floor by himself for the moment, maybe looking to get one more pick before descending down the stairs. If he does die, it's a 1-for-1, I guess, and it's still in control. We know, just even up, just waiting on Achieve to make their move. But so far, Achieve just droning things out, figuring out what they can, just pushing on through. Maybe MX Reaper can pick someone off who isn't aware of his presence.
He had that opener, and now he'll be looking to get the second. But man, he's been spotted out, and even though Reaper can't see where those bullets are coming from, well, Traken was more than comfortable to get that angle, and we'll get that kill found as well. So now we're evened up. Achieve have quickly brought things back, and with 45 seconds to go, they've got a good amount of manpower here to make for what could be a strong execute, but they still have a lot of defenders to deal with. Serb will be one of those defenders. He'll go for a swing, and he'll take down Twizzler without much trouble. He won't even take a single HP worth of damage for his troubles at all. Now, Traken, he'll only have a single bit of HP remaining as a C4 comes and detonates right below his feet. Morocco will now get lit up as his position has been spotted out in Pillar, and Serb is just making these players struggle as they work their way onto this first floor. Now, TPA will respond. Good kill from him, but Badger is there with an SMG-11. Serv is there with a UMP, and on 1 HP, Traken is all that remains, and Serv is not having it. A wide swing out from Mining, straight onto Pillar, and quickly dealing with this Achieve attack, who just haven't been able to get anything going. It is in control, up by 4. It is in control on match point.
In control once again, a great defense. We're kind of questioning the move when they all descended from the top floor early in that round. Reaper does get traded back after getting the first pick onto Riot. And then from there, they start opening the floor up. Achieve starts, destroying that vertical, trying to create that vertical pressure, but Serve killing Twizzler in that motion, dealing with that's vertical pressure early. So from that point, Achieve then have to deal with the vertical pressure they've created, deal with the holes they've created, and try to then push on to site. They were down, man. They only had 3 people left for that point too. And with 3 people, you really can't, allocate them to watching those vertical holes too. So they all just kind of descend towards Pillar, and it was not Serve. I think it was Serve, another player. Well, I think it was maybe someone else who was playing inside a train. I can't remember. It was the Castle, who's playing in train, who's just watching from that train side, making sure they're dropping until they can get those picks off of them. And then elsewhere on site too, there's members who have shotguns. You saw them, I think it was TPA, not TPA, it was somebody else who just swings off of the reading door, and they denied the push into site too as well. So just in the end, In Control knew the entire game plan from Achieve, because it is kind of the default. Going for that reading plant is usually the obvious choice. You get the ready control, you push for a default plant, and In Control just exactly knew what they were doing and just waited and played it correctly.
Well, now Benny will be heading down to kitchen here. In Control, looking to just finish things out in a clean 7-2 fashion, doing it very differently than Achieve defended this bomb site. We're not seeing the Malusi, the Vigil, the Thunderbird, or the Mozzie, all staples of the Achieve defense. Instead, we are seeing, at least in terms of this operator lineup, I would say a little bit more of a passive lineup, right? You're favoring the Wamai, the Maestro, the Kaid, the Smoke, all of these operators who are a little bit more designed for actually just chilling down on the objective rather than going aggressive and hunting for frags or trying to waste time on this roam. And I love to see that here from In Control. They know what works for them, and they're looking to continue with that pattern. It's Achieve who will be forced to break that up. We're seeing the double soft destruction. They have the Buck and the Sledge again, and there is no better bomb site to bring the combination. They just have to keep these 2 players alive, keep their fragging potential alive as they work their way past this roam clear, which doesn't really need to happen too much because there isn't a roam. And once they get that pressure on the site, we just got to see them get some frags here.
Well, see, here's the thing though, with the lineup they have, though, they're looking to make a horizontal hold here on site. You already see people playing VIP, playing code check, playing by whiskey. So at this point, that vertical pressure you're going to get on site, as long as members don't really peek out of the positions where you can get hit from, like those 2 members on site right now, and Badger and I believe Serve, they're not going to get a lot out of this control, all this vertical pressure. Twizzler looking through, maybe finding the Kaid. So there is actually a member who's trying to keep that wall inside the bakery closed. It's Dunny playing at the member right. He's a C4 in hand, looking to C4 Twizzler for the moment. C4 comes out, goes off, doesn't kill him because Twizzler. So now Dunny's got to be aware and make sure he doesn't get his head taken off by Twizzler or Riot playing that vertical pressure. There it is. Gets shot in the back. Badgers backs off. He goes towards Whiskey. It looks like Trachey and other members are going towards Bakery. So of course you can't be just doing one thing at a time. Members of Achieve need to be going towards Bakery, going towards VIP if that is the play, and start gaining that control for the execute.
Right now is when we see Achieve shift up towards this push, and it will start off with a good kill, and a very important kill at that. That is your smoke, who has been taken off the board. And if you're in control, you know how problematic that is going to be. Now, Badger and his presence in this round is going to be even more important if he wants to use those Evil Eyes, potentially deny the plant. But if not, you know you're going to have to frag your way out of this defense because you no longer have those toxic smokes to rely on. Dunny looking for fights. Badger looking for fights, but well, that's not going to be allowed to happen much longer. The X-Kairos pellets opening up that angle into prep, telling in control that Achieve are approaching from this big bakery side, but also limiting in control's options with how they want to play this. Tax sitting close around the corner. He'll get lined up by Twizzler. TPA will follow that one up onto Badger. Dunny gets one back, but it's a 2v3. Now it's a 2v3 with a good kill there from Dunny. Good pistol as well, but it's up to Reaper. 8 seconds left, so still a good chance to stop this plant because Riot's going to have to stick this, and, well, Twizzler's going to have to cover if he can. Reaper knows where he's positioned. He's going to hunt down for this bomb, and he's not going to be able to see him in time. Riot will hop off the defuse and get that headshot, keeping Achieve alive on Cafe, giving them their third round.
Yep, finally breaking up that entire win streak from In Control. They've got 6 in a row. Achieve will take their third. 6-3. They need 3 more rounds to bring it to overtime here. Let's see if they can do it. But that round was great, though. We saw, I guess it was great in the hands of just In Control at some point. They were going for horizontal push, horizontal hold. They're just trying to hold on to, positions outside the site. It's Achieve at that point. So then, they have to see what they can do. They start creating that vertical pressure. They get that first pick onto serve. The smoke is a huge one. And from there, not only were they using that vertical pressure, they had the members of Riot and Twizzler doing work, but then the other members from Achieve start going for different angles. They start opening up red stairs, going towards Bakery, taking fights and making sure that isn't just a stall out from them as they try to get vertical control. And from there, you saw it worked out well. Red stairs, having that control upstairs allowed them to deal with the player of Badger who was playing the double window and that double door into sight. And you saw then TPA, he tries to help out. He gets shot. He walks down the red stairs, takes out the member in coach check that was trying to help out or to swing onto red stairs, who then turns around getting shot in the back. And from there, just, one after another, these members are trying to fight. It's just so much control in the hands of Achieve. So, and, I like horizontal push, horizontal roams at times, but you can't give that much control to the defense so easy or to the attack that easily.
Well, In Control, an unsuccessful kitchen defense means that they will look for another bomb site, one that they found maybe a little bit more success on in the past. They'll be heading back to actually not to Reading. I'm mistaken. They're going to go to a new bomb site completely. Much like Achieve, they are going to go to Mining and Dining as well. This is actually unexpected, Benny. We don't usually see this bomb site once on Cafe, let alone twice from 2 different teams. So I'm interested to see how Achieve are going to attack this one. We saw them bold enough to start off the day here. They must know how to attack this, right?
I would hope so. I hope so. Having played it themselves, I'm assuming they have a strat to deal with it. And we'll see what they do. So far, it looks like they're trying to get angle onto white stairs to get a cutoff on some of these roamers if they are playing on the top floor. The question is, how many members from In Control are actually playing the top floor? And from looks of it looks like nobody once again is actually maybe Reaper is by himself, but it seems like maybe the intent in the the focus from In Control isn't again that vertical control. It is that horizontal setup from them on the roam. We'll see if that Reaper is the only person up there for the moment. He might have already backed off, seeing as he's seeing shots through the windows, a cocktail through that white crystal window. But actually, no, he's playing heavy. He's dropped under the pillar. He's looking to swing on that window, and he does swing. Perfect timing to take out TPA as he tries to rappel up.
Poor TPA. He has been absolutely shut down this entire map. 2-10 right now, and that is not something that is going to get better on the second match point of the map here. So Achieve, once again, opening death for them. In Control have been on top of the opening kills very consistently. In the last round, Achieve was able to maybe break up that rhythm a little bit and finally get something going and kick off the momentum for them right at the beginning of the round. But this time it is In Control again who start off strong. The vertical play now is coming in from Achieve. They'll find a C4 detonating at their feet. That's going to be the C4.
I think that was a Vulcan shield, actually.
That was a Vulcan
He slammed
shield.
it with the sledgehammer.
Yeah, I saw Badger grab his at the same time, but he hadn't detonated it, actually.
Yeah, I was like, wait, did you sledgehammer a Vulcan shield? That's an interesting play to make, to just set yourself on fire. But Tack playing pillars, trying to hold off for his team, so deny a plant later on. Looks like they're aware of his presence, so it looks like a flash comes out. Twizzler taking out Badger elsewhere, so that C4 will go to waste, it seems like. Dunny on the white stairs, looking to push up, and he will. Actually, no, it's Reaper elsewhere. He takes one out. He's refragged by Riot, though. Dunny's made his way up white hallway, looking to pre-fire onto Twizzler, who's destroying that floor, but he's now being pinched out by the attackers, aware of his presence. Pre-fire onto Riot. Great shots, giving his team the lead now into that execute in the last 30 seconds.
Tracking now. Good shot there onto Dunny. So that's going to keep things even in a 2v2. We'll be careful to run too close to this bomb site. He knows that there's going to be somebody lurking close behind. Both Tack and Serve in reading, ready to go, but they're going to get flashed out and forced to relocate. That is a very good, smart play from Track, and now he'll get another kill, leaving it all up to Tack now in a 1v2. 10 seconds, however, for Achieve to get something going. They've got to push in. Tack with the pistol in hand is just going to be avoiding these players as much as he can, but he'll end up walking into one of them. Wow, he actually got that kill with the pistol. Ended up getting that trade. Wow, impressive shot. Ended up being a trade, though, so Achieve, they will take the round.
Also, yeah, quick point. You'll say it's poor TPA. TPA has been the opening death 4 times, and Reaper's been his killer every single time.
Wow.
Unfortunate indeed, but that round was just Achieve. I guess they knew what they're doing. They're taking control of the top floor, but again, it seems like INCONTROL aren't really fond of vertical roams. They had these 2 rounds where they've been only horizontal roaming. They haven't been really trying to keep control of the top floor and allowing for Achieve to just go to work, open the floor up. They had the opening pick on the TPA, but that's still not enough. Reaper goes down, he trades on the personnel, but it seems like, again, you're getting Achieve gain too much control, using those angles against you. You saw some great plays from the side of Achieve to deal with the 2 players in reading, because they knew where they were. The flashbang out, swinging the other door, dealing with the person who was flashed and getting that kill. And while it was some good aggression here and there from INCONTROL to try and bring it back, every single time it happened, Achieve still brought it back into an even or in their favor in the end. So INCONTROL, I'm not sure if they don't like roaming per se, or that's maybe the problem. Well, at least on this side, you don't really have to roam, but I say they actually won this side because of the roam, surprisingly.
Well, so far, the pattern of this half is identical to the last in terms of, defensive team starts out with 2 and the attacking team starts to bring it back. But to send this one to OT, Achieve will have to do more than just make a little bit of a comeback. They will have to complete it all the way to get that 6th round. 2 more they need. 4 in a row will be required of them. They want to see OT on this first map, on INCONTROL's map pick, and, well, it's not going to be easy. That's INCONTROL's job. They're going to try to make this as hard as possible. We saw a moment ago Reaper establishing that same angle you mentioned earlier, Benny, looking up towards the red hatch. So that'll be something to pay attention to here as we see how Achieve want to approach this one. It looks like it's going to be another top down. They'll enter their way through Piano and work their way towards this site, which is in fact Bar and Cocktail. So nothing actually to clear out from above in terms of down below. But the reason I mention that is you do have a pulse in the mix. You've got Dunny identifying the location of all of these Achieve attackers, and he may go for this run out here. In fact, he'll just go for the pre-fire, missing by just an inch, revealing his position, but he'll still be in the mix and still be able to provide a lot of intel for his team.
Yeah, he's still gonna play his position. Last time it was Achieve who wasted 2 minutes trying to clear these 2 players down below on the 2nd floor. But I think this time Achieve is more aware of that, and they're gonna just push straight for the piano control because nobody's playing Pixel. They're denying that piano control. Nobody's playing aggressive inside piano, so it allows them to just jump in. At least Dunny has information for his team though, so even though they are going for this control, they're going to positions where INCONTROL aren't holding. Dunny can still tell them what's going on, alert INCONTROL the rest of the members to what the play is, and have them position themselves accordingly. Well, Reaper's still playing his position last time like he did before, and see if he can get a pick on them, but they're joining him out, so I'm assuming nobody's going to let him just play his position, looking to try and maybe cut him off from certain positions, or who's going to go down and actually deal with them on Achieve.
Well, they've thrown 2, now 3 drones at him, but nobody is currently in position to actually take him out. They'll finally work their way into the map and maybe jump into mining and try to track him down, but they're wasting drones and, well, they're wasting time as well. 3 drones is all that remains for this attack, and it's actually Reaper the one to get the kill instead. Despite the intel, Kraken will fall. There's another drone now removed, and with this support from below, it's going to continue in the favor of INCONTROL. Reaper gets a second. Now Morocco will be able to take down TAC and make a little bit of a response heard, but still it is Achieve on the back foot in a 3v4 with the map on the line. TPA with a nade, maybe sending that one into deep freezer, trying to shake up this round, but an ADS will quickly deal with that, and there is another ADS in place. Goodbye, Morocco. That's going to drop the diffuser down as Reaper is on a tear and on a triple kill in this round, looking for that 20 piece before the map is finished. Only needs to find one more to hit the 20. Looking for one more, but that's going to be denied by Dunny. Riot in the middle of the site. Reaper's going to have to find a long way around if he wants to get this kill. It won't be Reaper, it'll be Serve instead. So Reaper will only find 19, but an incredible performance from Reaper specifically and from INCONTROL all around. They will take their own map pick of Cafe 7-4.
I would say out of those 11 rounds, Reaper had 11 of those entry picks. Not 11, he had 6 of those entry picks at 11 rounds, though. That was quite a map from Reaper. And we're going, well, 7-4. Pretty dominant from the side of INCONTROL, at least for a 6 rounds straight. And then we had 2 rounds from Achieve to bring it back and make it at least try and bring it back, try and make it close, try to get to overtime. So there's still life in Achieve. I see that, and we're gonna see if they can keep that momentum going and keep themselves in the game going into their map pick of Oregon, though.
Yeah, seeing Oregon next, but I mean, to get 6 rounds in a row, especially making that comeback on the attacking side from INCONTROL, that was impressive. And as much doubt as I threw their way, before we even got into the map, I think I can throw all of that out the window now, because they have certainly made an incredible statement to kick off the night. Map 1 over and done with. Map 2 of Oregon coming up next. But before we get there, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention one of our amazing sponsors of this event, Mike and Ike. You can take your candy game to the next level with a pack of Mike and Ike Original Fruits or Mike and Ike Mega Mix. The delicious, fruity, chewy flavors can help fuel your game and power you up to keep playing at your best. You can power up with Mike and Ike. You can do that while we stick around, or hopefully you can stick around, and we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with Oregon in just a few moments.
Hey, I'm Bagel, and I'm the coach for Achieve ESPORTS. I think our strengths against the CL teams is that we have CL experience and we have VODs on CL teams, and there's not many VODs on us. And we'll have a lot of new strats, and we'll be able to take the CL teams by surprise with our playstyle. As a coach, I think it's really important to have competitions during the off-season because it will keep your team in shape, it'll keep you competing, it'll get names out there, and it'll also make sure that you're able to try out different strats against different levels of players. Our team hasn't changed players too often, as this core group has been together for a while, with minor player changes here and there, and it being 3/5 of smoke break. But I feel as if myself as a coach being new to the team will actually help us a lot, and I think I could bring a lot to the table in strats and VOD review. The team I would like to absolutely destroy is Two-Faced. I feel like a lot of them will either have too big of egos or have too much confidence in how well they're going to do. And I have the confidence that we're going to destroy them and embarrass them. We're not going to see them in CL again. I think it's important to have amateur level competition because it'll foster new teams and a lot of teams that you wouldn't expect to do well. As if you watch the quals, there were plenty of teams that were major upsets and almost made it. And also in smaller leagues, it will allow other teams to gain experience, and especially with SCS allowing T3 teams to play up against Challenger League teams. I think everyone on the team is currently ready for at least Challenger League, but I personally could see TPA being in Pro League next week, and I wouldn't bat an eye. I'd pocket the money so I could put it in my Twitter bio and flex it on people who have zero earnings. My favorite song on game day isn't necessarily a song, but also a video, and it's Calcium by Echo 2K, specifically the edit by Caspin. I play anime fighting games because I'm a weeb, and I play League of Legends because I hate myself. The worst job I had was working at Dunkin' Donuts. My manager was god-awful, and I would have rather do anything than that.
Seconds left. It's going to come down.
Favor making a third as he looks up. Making a finds the draw three. Stunning here from.
Well, Benny, coming into map 1, we outlined that we had to see INCONTROL play better. We had to see Reaper and Tack step up and get some kills, and boy, oh boy, did we see that. Reaper went absolutely nuts, dropped 19. Tack hit double digits as well, stepping it up from just the second round. Had 5 kills just on the second round of the night. What a way to start, and a great statement to kick things off in this series.
Yeah, you talked about, Tack need to be more the entry, and he did at first. He was starting off well, but then Reaper just started to take control, and he was getting entry after entry, both on defense and attack. So it's crazy to see, and we'll see if they can keep it up onto the next map. But it is a cheese map pick of Oregon, though, and Oregon itself has always been a map that it's like good teams go to die.
Right. I mean, it's a map that equalizes the playing field by an extreme, right? Every team is familiar with Oregon, and sometimes one team's play style on Oregon, even if one team is better on paper than the other, just outclasses their opponents. And well, that is what INCONTROL will be looking to do to close out the series. But you pull up these stats here and you take a look at Reaper's rating, 2.01, an actual madman. 19-6, 7-0, plus 7 on the entry, and that right there is the most impressive stat. Just going insane on entry, on the attack, on defense, and just never slowed down.
So yeah, it doesn't matter if it was attack or defense. He was looking to pick off members left and right. Doesn't matter what operator he was playing. Tack played well though. He said he needed some entries. He got 2 at least. Nothing too crazy, but at least was doing better compared to last week, which is great to see. On the side of Achieve, not so great, but it was quite a dominating map from INCONTROL. So it makes some of the stats aren't so great, unfortunately.
Well, that the trio I highlighted of TPA, Track, and Twizzler on the side of Achieved, the trio I needed to stay consistent and continue the success they had from last week. All 3 of them had, well, much different results, but TPA especially, who we usually see at the top of the leaderboard, getting a lot more of those kills. A 0.21 rating, I think it was, not ideal, right, to kick off the night. And that's the kind of thing you're going to shake off as soon as possible. You're heading into Oregon, a map that you should theoretically be very comfortable on. This is your map pick. Just get rid of those cobwebs. Now you're warmed up. Maybe they didn't have a warm-up scrim tonight, and now you can head on in with some confidence and try to bring this one back.
I think, yeah, Reaper was literally his kryptonite last map. Hopefully it doesn't stay the same, though, but we'll see. Let's see. We're going to Oregon. Let's see what INCONTROL bans first. And, of course, it's Thatcher per usual. I'm assuming we're going to have the same Thatcher, maybe Maverick, Valkyrie Mira, probably.
The usual bans is what we can expect here on Oregon. Well, the Thatcher is the first, as you said, and that second attacker ban. It's going to be the Flores, so nothing too crazy there, and that is kind of what we've seen in the recent weeks. Here in SCS, I mean, nobody has wanted to deal with the Flores on the attacking side. I would love to see a little bit more Flores played, especially because I love to see those Rotero drones. They were recently added to the game, recently added to the comp scene, and I love what attacking teams are doing with them, but defensive teams, they don't agree with me. They do not want to let those Rotero drones tear up those defenses, take care of those deployable shields rather easily, and well, we're not going to see him in play. We're not going to see the Mira in play on defense, and nor will we see the Valkyrie. So as you predicted, Benny, pretty stock standard Oregon bans. Nothing to be afraid of here.
Same old, same old. Nothing too crazy. It should be the same as always. But here we go. Achieve on attack, and we got INCONTROL on defense. And Oregon historically usually is defender sided. So we're gonna see Achieve. Since there's a map pick, what are their attacking strats like? Are they gonna pull out the Ying? What are they gonna pull out to make it, give them success on these attacking rounds as we go towards kitchen and dining first? Like we saw from this side of Achieve on their first defense, they pulled a one-off different site. We're seeing something different from the side of INCONTROL on their defense.
Well, as you mentioned, attack, starting things off for Achieve. On a map like Oregon, on a defensive-sided map, attack is where you win these maps. You win it by being better on attack than the other team. Yes, you gotta be better on defense too, but more often than not, those defensive rounds, those setups aren't going to be anything out of the ordinary. You've got a set of pretty default defenses, and that is what most teams run with. But already in control, they're going to defy those expectations just a little bit, not in terms of their setup, at least for now, but in terms of the bomb site they are going to elect to begin on. They're going to kick things off on dining and kitchen here. Nothing in dorms, not downstairs and basement, not even kitchen and meeting. We're starting in one of, I think, probably one of the most lesser seen bomb sites on this map. And, well, I can't wait to see how INCONTROL are going to defend it.
No, I guess the big thing here, like we usually see on this site, the big change is the fact that, well, you want a big change, but big conjunction is holding on to showers for as long as possible. Because once you have control of small tower, you take control of showers, you can drive a lot of those defenders back. There is some long angles from kitchen, from maybe that hatch inside of, kids' dorms towards that side that can be lethal. But if you have that control, you can smoke things out, you can push those defenders back, you can gain a lot of control, and you can really get that bomb down early and make that a post-win situation for the defense that have to try and, walk into sight lines that you already have control of. But so far, Meeper already getting heavy, fire towards that shower side. He's gonna be the one holding on the showers for as long as possible and see if he can do so, as they've already taken control of small tower. There's no small tower roam or really control here. Oh, what a shot from Reaper to start us off early in Oregon.
Yeah, Reaper just wants to continue getting those opening picks. Even on the Wamai, just sitting in showers, no deployable shield supporting him. He's going to get those kills anyway. Follow-up, great C4, TPA is gone, so that rhythm that we mentioned that needs to change, it's not going to change in this first round. Badger, an aggressive swing, and he'll light Riot up till very, very low, but can't quite finish him off, and still eager to get aggressive. Looks like, everyone on INCONTROL wants to swing. Impact as a little bit of a distraction. That'll be a nice little swing to follow it up, and several INCONTROL defenders will just throw their bodies towards small tower, and while they lose a couple of bodies along the way, they will be more than happy to claim that first round. An aggressive start. Achieve tried to go straight on into dining, a small tower, an aggressive attacking approach. They were met with aggression on the defense, and they were shut down.
Yeah, usually the issue is when the defenders get pushed back. That's when, the attackers gain that control and push in a site. But, why not just stop them in the first place? Don't let them get together of control. They have control of small tower. But from there, you saw Reaper already saw as well. Get that first pick on the track and stop that initial pick. And at that point, Achieve is, kind of freaking out. They're trying to pick things up, trying to stop what's happening. But then the C4 else from Dunny gets another pick. You're already down to 3 members. And with only 3 members, you can only watch so many angles. Allows for Badger to swing the hallway from showers or from bathroom. And then from there, you're looking back and forth. The impact gets thrown out. Kind of a weird one. I'm not sure if that really was a distraction or not, or what that entailing was. But then allows for them to swing off the impact, get a second, get another pick, make it a 2v5. And then from there, it's just the members of INCONTROL to swing one after another to finish the round out. So great stop from INCONTROL to start us off. They're starting on a great footing. We're going down to the usual bomb site of the basement.
Yeah, now it's a bit more of explored territory for both of these teams, and maybe that's where Achieve will prefer to attack, right? Again, dining is a site that they probably don't attack very often. Basement, they see this every single time they go to this map. In terms of their lineup, it's going to be the same. You're going to have Riot, though, on that Finca instead of TPA, which we saw last map. Instead, TPA is going to be focusing on the Zofia instead. And in terms of this defensive lineup, Reaper is going to be sticking with the Wamai, which might be a little bit surprising right off the bat, especially because we saw how crazy he could be on a more fragging focused operators, especially on Cafe. But seeing how Reaper performed in round 1, I don't think the operator or the weapon is going to slow Reaper down at all.
And you say that too, he's not really on a fragging operator, but they're looking to play a different round. And once again, he gets the first pick again on the Twizzler with that AUG, just playing aggressive. It doesn't matter what op it is. Like you said, it doesn't matter what op it is. He can get a kill on any op. And really, the fact that INCONTROL are playing for this roam, they're not going to be playing that, that normal elbow defense or playing for the laundry control. They're going to play aggressive in kitchen, inside of security, looking to take fights with Achieve early in the round and just make it so definitive going into it. He just pre-fire into dining, and there's one person. It's a Zofia of TPA who takes heavy damage from elsewhere, from Dunny maybe actually, and Tracking as well.
As a TPA in a bit of a pickle here, and now will be calling for some support. So both Tracken and Riot will rotate down on a little Finka boost as well to give them a little bit more HP to work with, a little bit more confidence in this gunfight. Reaper now is the one who finds himself a little bit trapped. He tried to swing out and maybe get aggressive to work his way back in this round, but he will stay tucked in security. Nade heading his way, and I suspect he'll be dropping down this hatch in a moment's notice. But Dunny is not. Dunny is still staying in this position, supporting his teammate, and trying to hunt for these kills. Same thing goes for Tack, just trying to hold the top of these freezer stairs, but finally, several of these players will rotate away. They say, you know what, 90 seconds left, we've done our job, let's back off, let's play safe.
Yep. Well, now they're going to drop off, and Badger's still playing on these, big tower stairs for the moment, but now it's up to Achieve to now create and execute out of what they have left. They still have most of their, members left, but maybe some utility, those grenades are not available anymore because they used them trying to, deal with these roamers, deal with these defenders who are playing aggressive. So now they have to go off of really just gun skill, taking fights. Riot's going to walk down Laundry, looking to take a fight, and somebody maybe unaware of his presence. On the big tower stairs, you saw somebody, I believe it was maybe the mute of Badger, playing a position you wouldn't expect. He's actually going to start aggressing towards the big tower stairs. He's going to T2 for the moment, and maybe actually rotate towards that Laundry side, getting calls from his team, knowing that they're going to push that Laundry freezer side.
Yeah, going for a late flank here could be very impactful, but might be leaving your teammate out to dry if you're not careful. Looks like Tracken will actually, on Achieve, be the first one to begin to make this push happen. You combine that with TPA pushing from Laundry, and you're trying to get this crossfire going, but it is going to be shut down, at least at first. Both Tracken and Riot will quickly answer. Here comes that flank, though. Badger nearly possibly saving the round here for INCONTROL, because now Serve is stuck in the closet, and 10 seconds are all that Achieve have to work with. Long angle for the shotgun, and that is not going to pay off for him. Riot and Tracken will clean it up in the final few seconds, and Achieve will find a way to bring that round back, defying expectations a little bit in the end, brute forcing their way in the site, and it will work for them.
I will say, because of the fact that INCONTROL hadn't used a lot of utility on that, roam, playing kitchen, playing security, there weren't shields, there weren't magnets, there weren't really ADSs to help them when it came to that push through freezer, through Laundry. So there were no shields to allow you to play that rotate inside of Laundry towards, storage. There wasn't a shield inside of highway to play that angle in the freezer. So at that point, it was just kind of INCONTROL taking fights straight up against Achieve. And what we could see, just because Achieve weren't great at clearing the roam, they're still great at taking fights and winning those gunfights. And they won most of those gunfights, pretty every single one, until at least I think it was one kill here and there, maybe for the defense that put them close. But it still is great that Achieve would win those gunfights. And, Badger going for that flank, was it a good one? He's still got to pick to even up to 2, but in the end, it kind of maybe it was more sense to have him on site to take that fight, to have, a 5v4 rather than a 4v4 on site.
That's one of those tough questions, right? Where you look back, hindsight 2020, we say maybe he should have been on the site, but especially when you're dealing with a Laundry and freezer approach, there really isn't that many places you can theoretically just sit on the bomb site to stop that push. There are only so many spots that you can have staffed and just trying to hold when you don't have, like you said, Benny, when you don't have those deployable shields to play around. You don't have those ADSs, those Wamai magnets, those mute jammers, the utility that you normally would have if you don't go for such an extended roam. So that's one of those questions that I'm sure they'll continue to debate as they try to adapt and work their way forward in these next few defenses. We're not going to see basement again, though. They're going to adapt by just switching up the bomb site completely. They're going to head up here to dorms as their next site of choice.
Well, we'll see what they do here for Achieve. What is their gameplay on this top 4? Dunny playing the orange this time. Well, not an opera we see very often. Maybe looking to hold big tower, and the question will be, does he return back to site through that meeting hatch later on? But again, this is a roam once again from Achieve, playing below, maybe have a C4 on site, but looking to take control. Achieve starting off trying to take control of that game's wall, trying to get opened up to start us off, to maybe give them that first angle into sight, and from there depart, trade other angle elsewhere. But MX Reaper once again starting us off with a kill. 3 rounds in a row he's gotten the opening pick.
3 for 3 so far, but INCONTROL have not been able to win all of those rounds, of course, or at least that second one that we just fall to achieve. So they'll still have to keep things tidy, and MX Reaper will likely still have to contribute another frag or two. He'll be playing downstairs for now, and he'll step up and maybe look to get aggressive. He saw somebody dart upstairs, but that's not going to be able to... He won't be able to work with that. He won't be able to support his teammate either. Badger, who will fall as well. So even things out in a 4v4. Great job from Achieve to quickly, or at least quick enough, neutralize the man advantage that INCONTROL had secured. And so now they can continue to set up this site and look to go for an eventual execute. You already have TPA up in trophy. You've got that games breach open, and well, now you're going to start swinging on this bomb site and getting some frags going. Riot gets one, TPA gets another. It's just Reaper and Serve left alone, and Reaper isn't even in the best position. His feet are going to be exposed on the site, and Riot will take him out. Serve will get one before everything is said and done, but a very good attack coming out from Achieve, and what a way to play this top floor. Great job from them, and that's 2 rounds for them in a row.
What a round indeed. Reaper once again in the opening pick, but then he sees his friend get killed on the armory stairs, and from Achieve, it was mainly that trophy games wall push, games breach push from the side of Achieve. They go for those picks, and more than anything, it wasn't even control at that point. It was just picks going in the way of Achieve. There were members of INCONTROL just peeking out, taking fights again and again. Achieve are winning them in this round. So even if Achieve aren't making these crazy strat plays, their gun skill wise just stopping the aggression from INCONTROL again and again in these last 2 rounds compared to the first round not so much, but in the past 2 rounds they've done great in just stopping the aggression and winning gunfights straight out against INCONTROL. And maybe INCONTROL at this point need to back off on some of these plays, back off some of that aggression. Hard to say. We'll see what they do this time as they're going to replay that top floor.
Right, it's hard to know exactly, what are the changes INCONTROL need to make. There are a couple, right? You could, like you said, Benny, maybe back off a little bit and focus on the site a little more. It could be maybe the complete opposite. Maybe get more aggressive, and instead of just having Reaper on the solo roam, especially on this top floor bomb site, maybe have someone to support him. At least for this round, Reaper will be, on an aggressive operator. He'll have that MX4 Storm. He'll have the fragging potential, but he won't be on the Aruni anymore. He'll be on the Alibi, and he'll throw a couple of those holograms down on the site to maybe help with whatever on-site hold that INCONTROL are looking to do. Reaper himself will not be on the site, but he won't be too far afield on the main stairs right now, looking to contest these players as they work their way in this main door.
Well, 2 air jabs go out, and he'll see 2. He'll shoot the drone. He'll shoot one of the air jabs too. Pre-fire, making sure someone pre-fires him back, but he's getting pre-fire through the armored window. And so far, INCONTROL are looking to extend out. So rather than play back, they're looking to play aggressive instead, and that aggression is met with a response. Morocco with a fish pick onto Badger. There goes Romai early, and those discs won't be of help later on in the round. MX Reaper is now put in his position. He's playing trophy for the moment. Is there a member to play beside him, though? Because those members come through the hallway, coming from bedroom. There's too many angles from the hole. He's going to have to back off and come back towards site.
Achieve, now it's their turn to get this opening pick. Not something they're accustomed to. They've only done that. This is the 3rd time they've done it all series, but the question remains, what are they going to do with it? We've seen how they can get aggressive and they just decide to push the site when they feel they have an opportunity, and well, maybe that opportunity is now. The one difficulty they're going to have is this game's wall, because unlike last time, it's not double reinforced. You've got an opening, you've got an Aruni gate, and you've got a deployable shield also facing this direction. So some pressure from below, that's going to be Achieve's job here. And while it might work initially in forcing that player off the shield, that is going to mean attention is diverted from elsewhere. Dunny and Reaper are both allowed to step up and get a kill, swinging the advantage in favor of defense yet again.
Well, it looks like now Riot will go help out Morocco. He's having trouble pushing through into Master because of that shield you talked about. He's going to push through towards Trophy. Pre-fire some of these angles opened up by the defense. And now members of Chiva trying to push this Attic angle as well. They can take control Attic. They can try and circumvent some of this pressure onto the game as well. Twizzler with a kill on the Reaper, stopping his reign of terror and allowing them to start pushing through into Attic. Taka has a great angle through the softball, but he's also scared behind him. He's been flashed. Still has a shield in hand though, so he's still protected from Morocco's push. At this point, just members trying to push through these angles from Achieve, and so far they're being stopped at least with gunfire and some utility.
Well, if Morocco walks in, he knows there's a crossfire pre-established and knows it would be probably a terrible idea. So he's going to pivot right now, at least over to the trophy side, supported by Twizzler, who's working his way in from Attic, and Riot from Big Window. And you've got a couple of options here, and you've got a pretty lethal crossfire on this site. Tak will be on the losing end of that crossfire. Riot will finish things off, and Serve, while he gets one, is taken down from behind. Morocco stepping up and going big. It is Achieve who have turned the tide and now have 3 rounds in a row.
3 rounds indeed. And like you said, we talked about before, do you get aggressive or do you pull back? In instance, INCONTROL try to get aggressive. They try to open up angles, and it was good for the early mid round. We saw Dunny and MX Reaper get 2 picks to give them the lead for a little bit. But as time goes on, as the defense pulled back, it was then Achieve who then take control. They start having people with Big Window, people through Attic, people through games, and they start constricting on the defense, finding angles, finding when people from INCONTROL are either rotating or when they're exposing themselves, and Achieve are, capitalizing on those moments, getting those picks, getting those kills, and slowly getting on site, leaving it in that point. It was a 1v3 for one player, try and bring it back after other members of the team are getting caught off rotates, caught off movement in the site. So good job from Achieve. They have 3-1 now, looking to make maybe a 5-1 half, a 4-2 half.
I mean, on the attacking side, they have already done their job and then some. Really looking good, and much like INCONTROL and their mid map dominance on Cafe, we really are getting a clear picture as to why Achieve picked this map. They clearly have these attacks down, and well, they haven't necessarily been the cleanest attacks of all time, and they've had a little bit of difficulty dealing with a player here or there, especially Reaper on the entry, who is now 10-0 on the series, by the way, on the entry. Still, Achieve are winning out these rounds, and that's what matters. Even in the last round, they were down in a 3v4, and they managed to close it out anyway, staying composed, staying patient, taking the time to get some intel when other teams may just rush into the site in an effort to just get that man advantage back and do so clumsily. These rounds haven't been perfect, but they've been clean enough to stop INCONTROL and to prevent INCONTROL from going on another run like they did on Cafe. I like what Achieve are doing right now, and all they've got to do is continue it here on Meeting, where INCONTROL are going next on defense after they've failed to really find a bomb site they're comfortable with in the last 3 rounds.
That's their first try for this one. The only one they've won was that kitchen dining defense. And that was really because how aggressive they got and what Achieve were just kind of caught off guard after pushing small tower. But we'll see so far. When it comes to defense, when it comes to opening the site up for the attack, they can just, try and open up that meeting wall, push towards site and get a plant down maybe, as long as you can, bait out some utility, bait out the C4s, bait out the indirect denial, and then also deny that hash inside of Attic. Of course, you see INCONTROL opening up holes to try and play that Attic angle as Tax looking to destroy, looks to play, sees someone pushing towards that green hall, and Twizzler's going to make it up ult here to try and contest this Attic to make sure nobody plays that hatch. Tax is only really playing close, though, when it comes to this meeting play, so if they were to go for straight for sight, what will Achieve, what will INCONTROL do at that point to try and stop them? What other direct denial they have? It's otherwise just C4s, maybe throw a C4 through that hatch downstairs to E-box.
I mean, we could see that kind of play, but I mean, INCONTROL knows that once Attic control has been forfeit, I mean, site is going to be pressured very soon after, and you've got to be careful about that. Tak cannot simply just sit here and hope to get something done. I mean, he'll try to get an impact trick going, and it'll actually work quite well. So he'll deal with the majority of those X-Kairos pellets, and that's going to force Achieve into a little bit of an uncomfortable spot, considering Morocco has now expended all of them. It's going to force Twizzler to use that breaching torch and try to get something going from there, but Achieve may just turn to what they've been doing exceptionally well the last 3 rounds, just getting kills. TPA will do that. Now he'll fall to track in his teammate who was trying to pre-fire that angle, but Morocco will thankfully recover a little bit and take down Badger.
Attack elsewhere, it's holding on site, takes out Morocco, and he's trying to stay alive inside a meeting for as long as possible to help his team out. It's a 3v3. It's still even up. There's still time for INCONTROL to bring this well. It's even, or maybe you can just win the round out. But MX Reaper elsewhere, there's a control. This is the fight you need. He takes out Riot. It's down to Track and Twizzler, both on the big tower side. I think Reaper's upstairs trying to take control of Attic to push them out, to be that, maybe that hammer on the anvil to put Achieve down. But Twizzler puts down Reaper instead, gives them control. Tracken tries to push through, but it's a long aim from Class 2. What a shot from Tracken. Twizzler also takes out Tak, and it's Achieve to win another round to put them 4-1 in the lead.
What a round from Achieve, especially in that 2v3, because they were in a really awkward spot, and you could see it, and even INCONTROL knew that, because when you attack Meeting, You don't actually have to control Attic. You just have to have somebody watching Attic to make sure that no in-control defender can retake that position. But when you're in a 2v3 and you still have to push the site, you don't have the manpower, or at least theoretically, you shouldn't have the manpower to apply site pressure and deal with Attic at the same time. In Control, suspecting that, tried to put somebody up there and tried to go for a little bit of an Attic retake, maybe play the hatch, but Achieve saw through that very quickly, putting somebody upstairs, dealing with that player, and then actually staffing the hatch and getting the kill he needed. Not to mention Track and hit an incredible shot all the way, through that split wall into Classroom, I believe it was. There was another defender trying to swing him from there, at least from Z Hall. A couple of impressive shots, some really good decision making in those few moments from Achieve, definitely not from In Control, and that is their 4th round, not only on Oregon Attack, but is their 4th round in a row. They've also finally broken the rhythm of In Control getting these opening picks. It's been 2 Achieve opening picks, now 2 rounds in a row, and the momentum firmly in their hand, the confidence firmly in their grasp. I don't know what In Control can do to counter this right now because they're on defense. They haven't found a bomb site that they can defend, and they're just kind of floundering at this point.
Well, this was the one bomb site they did win, but that was based off of some aggression, some plays that maybe you can't technically maybe replicate when it comes to the site. Knowing that Achieve at this point, they're aware of how aggressive they can be on the site, so they're going for a different play. You see members from Achieve going towards Big Tower, going towards clearing this top floor, and maybe going for a kitchen take instead. Just clear out those defenders on site, push on the kitchen to get that plant down. Tax upstairs, Server's now with them as well. So rather than going for small tower and pushing towards shower, pushing towards a dining plant, they can be going for upstairs, try and clear out those members upstairs, and then have that vertical pressure on the players inside of kitchen. As you know, they're towards setting up that play for later on for Green Hall, set up to make sure they can push into kitchen later on and just clear out any kind of adjacent angles on top of it.
Well, now as meeting control has been secured, it looks like Achieve will be looking to approach this bomb site from the opposite side compared to the last round. We're not seeing a small tower direct approach. Instead, taking maybe more of a riskier approach and trying to take more map control and contest here with this In Control defense. Achieve are trying to just barrel their way in from the kitchen side instead. Now, In Control, they know this now, and they know that this vertical control is being contested. They know that these players upstairs are going to be under threat in just a moment, and they're going to support that the best they can. A great C4 from Dunny, and a great opening pick this time for In Control, shutting down TPA, who, while has been effective in a couple of rounds, has also been relatively quiet on Oregon as well. And now with that, Achieve know that they need to either get a move on this top floor or eventually give up on this clear, because sooner or later you won't have the time and you won't have the manpower. This nade could be big as it'll work its way towards Tack, but it's not going to be successful. Reaper as well. He'll step up and get a kill onto Morocco, now making Achieve, putting them into the uncomfortable position. Now Twiz will answer. Good kill onto Reaper there. And that is a good way to bring things back, but still Achieve on the back foot.
Well, one member looks like tracking going through Z, takes out Tack in a bit of a flanky play. He knows that someone was playing Meek, Reaper was playing Classroom, so he plays off of that, pushes into Z, trying to take control of security for his team. Dunny's here to stop that, and it looks like actually he's going to back off, and they're looking to maybe open up that wall from meeting into kitchen, but tracking once again, just making sure nobody can play aggressive through here, make sure nobody flanks later on when they go for this push. But actually, yeah, maybe they're actually rotating towards a dining take instead. But that's where the members of In Control are waiting. Donnie with some shots, he misses some crucial shots on to Tracken. Serve elsewhere there will take out Twizzler. Donnie will finish off Tracken. Now it's down to just one member of Achieve. It's Riot in a 1v2 with an LMG in hand, but no time available, and Serve will swing as soon as he takes out that BP, and In Control will take their second round of the half. 4-2 half to end it.
Well, I would say recovering the half of that round, but I mean, not quite. It's still 4-2 in terms of the attacking side, but at least that's something for In Control. They can remember what it's like to win a round, I suppose you could say. And maybe they can go to their half with a little bit more confidence working for them. We're not seeing Tack step up much like Tack was able to do on that last map. We are seeing Reaper, though, go pretty crazy so far. 7 kills to his name, 3 of those on the opener. And, well, he's going to have to continue that on the attacking side if In Control stand any chance, because Achieve, they've shown that they can attack on Oregon. And generally, that is what is going to win you this map, this defensive-sided map. A great way to start for Achieve. Great way to send a message here and see if they can take this one back and maybe send this one to map 3. Villa is our
Yeah.
decider. So that's what we'll end up if Achieve can continue the success here and not letting Control make the comeback.
Definitely, yeah. Maybe both teams will just have a dominating side on their map picks, and then we go on to the third map to see who can do better on Villa. That could be the case here. And we'll see what happens here as Control do that first attack, and it looks like Achieve are taking out, something out of the books of In Control, looking to maybe set up upstairs and do a roam similar to In Control and just waste their time and make sure. But even I say that actually on that site, they still won that. Achieve actually won that site despite wasting quite a bit of time and getting picks on that roam. So this will go the same way for In Control. Hard to say, but we'll see what they can do here. They're reinforcing inside of Kitchen, and they're going to play for the roam. And well, it depends. Is In Control going to even tackle the roam, or are they going to maybe try and just bypass it and go straight to site? Reaper is playing the Jackal, though. That's a nice tool to have to deal with some of that aggression, as Dunny just jumps straight in a small tower, and he's looking to take a fight early in this round.
Well, TPA will actually be the one doing a little bit of droning instead of at least this In Control attack. Trying to figure out where this attack is making their entry point into the building. He'll maybe identify a couple of players over on that small tower side, and, well, he'll give the cue to Twizzler. Hey, staff these white stairs. Try to keep an eye out on this Showers corridor. See where any player is coming from. You do have one. Tack is going to be that initial entry. You've got Dunny as well, who's already worked his way up towards that kitchen doorway. But Twizzler is going to be wary of that. He knows he's revealed his position, and he knows he's got a lot of defensive support on this roam, so he doesn't have to get too aggressive. Speaking of trying to play a little bit more passively, TPA gets cut off as he rotates away, and Twizzler will also be cut down as well. So In Control, also on the attack, they'll start things off well. 5v3 in this round.
Maybe attack on the defense is, maybe he's not a great time on defense, but on attack so far, he started us off early with 2 picks of his own to bring this round In Control in their favor, at least. And so far now, with that roam cleared, now they can go to work and see what is the execute going to be. Are they going to go for the laundry freezer take we saw from Achieve that they won the round on just based on gun skill? Because there was no real, there was no utility for In Control to use on their defense. But Morocco getting aggressive, knowing that they have to make a play here. But the drone's in perfect spot. Reaper will play full off the intel, get that pick on a Morocco. Now it's a 2v5 for Achieve. Tracking and Ryan have to go overtime in this round and try and bring it back and win them up and bring them 5 of 2. But so far, they still have some utility to go off of.
Tracken knows where this push is coming from, knows where he needs to be focused on. Same thing for Riot. They have a good idea of where In Control are approaching from, but it's a 5v2. No matter how much info you have, well, you're not going to be able to do much with it. Reaper and Serve make quick work of those final 2 defenders, and In Control, they start off their half with a flawless round. Way to kick things off on the attack.
I was say we were scared for In Control because of the fact that they're on the attack, and like you said, attacks that would really define you on Oregon. Well, that's a defining round from In Control. They clear that roam well. Tack getting 2 picks to liven his stats up in this next half on the attack of Zofia, using that LMG to good use. And then from there, they just deal with players systematically. Just a shot from Reaper. They knew the players inside the closet. Just pre-fire straight, just intel again. We saw Intel really do well on their cafe. I wasn't sure if they're going to bring it here on Oregon, but so far that first round looks like they're still having a great Intel game. But maybe we'll keep up on these halves though. We go to Kids Dorm for Achieve's next defense.
Yeah, basement didn't go their way, so only we can expect them to head to this top 4, not bringing out the unexpected first pick of dining like In Control did on their half. Going with something a little bit more expected. Now, we saw from both teams on the defense so far, we've seen a lot of effort and utility put into pretty substantial roams and extensions, right? I mean, look at this. We've got a double Goyo Vulcan shield here in Z, one facing the Showers Hall in that double door, the other facing main lobby and garage. So a lot of effort being put into the extensions. This one, not designed to waste time, more so designed to deny the plant. You put somebody like Riot down by those shields with a C4. You could put Morocco down there too. He's also got a C4. You use these castle barricades to support you, and, well, you've got a lot of possibility at denying that bomb when the attackers try to put that down. Not a setup I don't think I've seen ever. So I'm interested to see exactly how this works.
I've definitely seen players in security and kitchen, but I've never seen them play in Z inside a meeting as well. You see they've reinforced the meeting walls as well. So there's quite a bit put here by Achieve to just hold this bottom floor for as long as possible. Like I said, maybe throw a C4 and deny the plant later on if they go straight for sight. if they don't really try to clear this roam. But looks like we'll see hefty, how the intel game goes for INCONTROL, and if they can still keep calm and be able to diffuse this kind of roam. Because like we saw from Cafe, there are times where INCONTROL seemed like they were lost when it came to early attacks, and this is still early in the attacks. Can they still figure out what to do, how to work around this roam or to defuse it and deal with it? But looks like Badger will go to work on the attic, and maybe they'll just bypass it and go straight for sight. The serve is opening up, making sure he can deal with the mute jammers on this game's wall, and they can open it up. And looks like they are just trying to just walk by and go straight to sight.
Well, Twizzler will continue his position here in meeting, and with that, he'll try to apply some pressure towards the tower stairs, some pressure towards attic if INCONTROL wants to walk in, but he's not going to pay enough attention to Reaper, who sneaks in from behind. That is a very well-placed smoke, and then Riot will just get an RNG lucky headshot through the wall. Hey, great kill and great way to respond, but really the play from Reaper, that's what we should be applauding here. Great job smoking off those Goyo shields, knowing that he had to cover that angle if he wanted to sneak in through split and sneak into meeting. He did that. He got the kill onto the castle, but he was traded out in response. But now INCONTROL, with maybe some of that meeting threat dealt with, they can push up attic and they can take firm control of pit and actually start pressuring out this bomb site. TAC has done so already up into kids and looking to get aggressive. Serve will get one, but TAC is taken down in response. Good kill there from Morocco, but Serve on another now. All from this game's breach. He'll walk in and get his head taken clean off, but Dunny and Badger are there with 2 quick trades and INCONTROL. Now it's their turn on the attacking side, and they are showing that, well, maybe we are in for a bit of an attacker side at Oregon. That's 2 rounds in a row, Benny.
Oh, wow. That was quite the round 2. Just like that, you talked about the smoking of Z and then getting your angles into meeting, taking out that 1-player meeting of Twizzler, and then from there was a great, maybe not lucky, but maybe not great either, but just a good shot from the member of inside of Z to refrag on a Reaper. And from there, but still, it was INCONTROL who at that point really put in stock and dealing with a roam. They were just going to push site, and from there you saw them take control of games wall, open up attic, get inside attic and take that control and take fights onto the members on site. And it was Serve getting that 2-piece on site to entry his team into it. And from there is just members taking fights left and right and winning them on the side of Achieve. And they were cutting off the roamers, because at that point the roamers had to return back to site, and they were able to get picks on the roamers pushing back into site too. And especially because that angles on big window, on games, on attic. There's only so many places you can come back to site, and having that control of those angles and just dealing with those players coming to site is big on INCONTROL. Great way to play it. We go on to back downstairs to laundry and supply for Achieve. They got to find a site they can win.
Right, interestingly enough, it's going to be INCONTROL who appear to have taken this time out. So maybe on the attacking side, they had a couple of issues they wanted to work out, or maybe just they had to take a quick pause to, let somebody get up, go to the bathroom, stretch, get a drink. Either way, that 60 seconds is going to be theirs, and they will talk things over while they look towards how they're going to approach this next attacking round. And that's 2 rounds in a row. They're off to a very good start, and they've tied us up at a 4-4 score line. More than that, they've done the most important thing is to say that, you know what, I don't care what bomb sites you're going to go to Achieve, we can win it. And they've made that statement by winning a basement attack, winning a dorms attack, and the fact that Achieve are going back to basement again suggests that maybe they're not super comfortable with, those tertiary bomb sites, that meeting kitchen, that dining kitchen. They want to avoid that for now, and so even though we're tied, and even though Achieve started off the first half with a very strong performance, kind of feels like Achieve are on the back foot a little bit, Benny.
Yeah, I think at this point Achieve are just trying to worm things. They got to figure things out now, because they're maybe grasping for straws and what they can do next. It looks like now, rather than having the full roam like they did the first time they defended the site, they're going back for that normal defense, having a shield elbow, having a shield inside of pillar, and just holding these downstairs positions and let INCONTROL do their job, take that top floor and see them go to work and see if they can deal with these normal defenses, having these shields, these places like barrel, inside of elbow, inside of pillar. So far, otherwise, well, TP is upstairs from Mo, but I'm not sure how aggressive Achieve will be, because it seems like so far on this aggressive plays on these strats that are different than normal, they're being punished time and time again. So they got to figure out, maybe play a default strat will do better for them than playing something crazy.
At this point, they're just trying to change up their strategy in every way they can, Benny, right? I mean, they're trying to approach it from different ways. They're not going to change the bomb site per se, but they will change their play style. And like you said, change the way they're going to set this up. And you can just see, you know, our wonderful blue outlines. We can know that only one player, maybe two, are extended even somewhat off the bomb site for now, but they're just at the top of staircases here. They're not actually taking fights or challenging. You already have these players rotating back downstairs, rotating away. So it is going to be a full 5-man on-site defense for Achieve. In control in their attack, they will quickly identify the map is clear, and maybe minute and a half, they'll work their way into their default attacking positions and decide where they want to approach from. And whether that's going to be another laundry freezer push like we've seen, or something more geared up towards the north side, at least we won't be able to make that decision quite yet. But right now, within 60 seconds, they know they've got map control, and that is often the biggest job attackers really have to worry about right as the round begins.
Yep, just being efficient, getting that map control if you know it's clear, making sure nobody's roaming, and then opening hatches up and really figuring out what your attack is. And then in this like kind of default strat though, it's going to be difficult for that laundry freezer take. You usually see teams, if they go for this laundry freezer take, they need to use smokes, they need to use flashes in the way, not only to seal the shields, but also try and cut off these crossfires that people have, whether it be behind the bomb chassis, playing those laundry machines off towards freezer. These are common positions for defenders to play, and usually it's difficult for attackers to walk in because they have those positions, they have those angles on the lock waiting for that push. So at this point, it may be better for InControl to go for that, you know, that back power, so big tower take, instead go for pillar. So it looks like tracking, we'll see one coming down that pillar, but of course there also are their own obstacles on this side too when it comes to shields and pillar. The shields by barrels. Serve is gonna open this wall up and looking to maybe try and clear out these players, push out the player inside of elbow, and make sure they can push towards pillars. It looks like Twiz will be the first one up. They haven't late reinforced it either.
Well, in control, they've got a couple of options here, and it seems that they're going to be pushing for this north side, like we've said, but they've still got players extended on the other side of the map, and now they've got to group up and make a decision because they're starting to get picked off here. TPA and Twizzler will both get one. Riot as well will get another. Serve gets a kill in response, but now he finds himself alone, joined by Reaper in a 2 versus 4 situation. Good kill again down the gold hall. TPA will be shut down, and you know, tracking on low HP, this is definitely doable for In Control, especially now that Reaper gets another. Tracking will take down Serve finally, and so it's Reaper on 100 HP versus a low HP Tracking and Morocco. Only one toxic canister left, but unfortunately looks like Reaper will be caught looking the other way, and Tracking from the prone angle will be able to take him out in no time. So Achieve, they finally find a site they can defend. They'll go to basement, even though it was their second time. This time, it pays off.
And then let's go back to the basics. Just play it like you usually expect. And from there, it just leaves In Control in the driver's seat. But they have to drive it well. They have to drive the car in an efficient way, which they did at first. They got that they had that, you know, opening round or early round where they just take control, they open hatches up, and then they have to lead into and execute. And from there, it was a bit costly walking into elbow. You had members also in the big tower stairs. You had members from In Control also pushing, you know, towards that laundry side as well. Reaper making his entry from that freezer side. So it seemed like In Control wanted to try and do like a full side from every single different angle just to make sure they can throw, you know, Achieve off, try to, you know, create a distraction, cause them to move their forces left and right, and have, you know, a flank later on. But in the end, Achieve had members on every single angle, and for the most part, they held every single angle for the most part very well, except for that elbow where there was a trade with Badger and Twizzler. Well, no, Twizzler gets a trade off to kill Badger, but otherwise, they won most other fights, really. So it really, in the end, is just maybe just playing the basics, which you need to do, because otherwise, that's the reason why Oregon could be so defender side, because you can play default and still win those rounds pretty heavily.
Yeah, good to see adjustments when they actually pay off. Shows that, you know, teams and their adaptability, it's an important element of any team, especially, you know, here in T3 where we see a lot of, you know, different play styles, a lot of teams trialing new things, new stacks, trying to get together. Maybe we're going to see a frag heavy team, more of a, you know, default style, more passive team, like you said, Benny. And seeing how teams adapt is so important. And, you know, Achieve their adaptation, especially in that last round, to play a little bit more passively, play a little bit more default. It paid off for them. And I expect to see that continue here as they look to close out things on the defense. They move that lead. They find that lead once again. It's going to be a 5-4 lead for them. 1 round gap they've now secured. And of course, they'll be looking to extend that to 2 on this upstairs bomb site of dorms. Nade from Dunny coming up, but Morocco, wow, 1 HP remaining. Wow. He was sitting on that hatch trying to hide by the reinforcement, suspecting that there was an explosive coming from below, but he will not have a lot of HP to fend off the rest of this attack.
Neither was some other people like TPA and also Riot taking heavy damage elsewhere in that top floor. And like we said before, like you're saying, maybe playing passive is more a thing for Achieve, and they're pulling back the defense. Not going to playing for that Z hold they had before. Gonna be playing more for that top floor, but they are extending Torch Trophy towards Armory for the moment. But for In Control, it seems like the intent is just for that big window control, maybe just taking control downstairs and trying to grenade these defenders from below. As you know, Serve is the buck. He can go into the kitchen and start tearing the floor up, try and push some of those defenders inside of kitchen, well, not say kids, inside of kids' dorms, out of their positions, out of their angles, to allow for that attic approach maybe later on to go well for them. As it looks like they're just downstairs. Yeah, Serve is just using that skeleton T to full use and opening up the floor and see if somebody from can catch someone from Achieve off guard.
Traken is still waiting to spot someone out from this attack down below. He'll find himself getting skeleton keyed out of position, but Serve actually had no idea Traken was there, so nearly lost his head down below, but he will also narrowly escape. Kind of everyone's scrambling around on the defensive and the attacking side right now. In Control, trying to position for an eventual push. Achieve trying to avoid all of the angles that In Control are doing a brilliant job of establishing from down below, from up top. Really no position safe anymore for this defense to reside, and they know it. They're trying to find these frags and get themselves out of the positional hole they're in right now. Not necessarily a fragging hole. I mean, we have all 10 players in this lobby with 40 seconds left. First time I think we've said that so far in this entire series, but yet no team has yet to actually strike.
Well, you say that Twizzler will strike first on to Tack. It looks like it's going to be a white big window push. Badger makes his entry on to TPA. And so what really members are going down left and right, but it's still In Control. What is the game plan? It looks like white is going to be the game plan for these two members walking up the stairs. The flank from Serve doesn't go well. Riot will take him down. Riot takes two. Dunny takes a Riot return, though. They're making way into games. Reaper's walking right into kids, though. Will they expect it? No. Kraken goes down to 1v1 for Twizzler. But only 10 seconds left. He just got to stay alive. And Reaper has no clue where he is. And it's Twizzler to win the fight. And Chief will take round 10, put themselves on match point.
Yeah, that's well played from Achieve. It was a messy round. I mean, that's going to happen every time when you've got 10 players left, and the execute hasn't even happened yet. But they did a damn good job of staying alive. A really impressive job of staying alive on that bomb site when, like I said, In Control were doing a phenomenal job of approaching from below. We see that a lot with not necessarily the recent meta, but it's come in the recent months. You know, this big window, white stairs kind of pressure. You get a buck down below. You try to work your way in below kids, in kitchen, just tearing up the floor as much as you can and forcing those defenders in kids to get the heck out of there. Because once you do that, where are they going to move? They can move into dorms, games, or back into attic. If they're in dorms, you've got big window and you've got white stairs pressure to kill them. Great. And if they're in games, theoretically, they shouldn't be able to deny that plant. But Achieve, despite all of the pressure being applied from below, they didn't give up the positions entirely. They played close on that attic rotate. We saw that from Twizzler in the last round. They made sure to always be staffing an angle that they knew In Control was going to be pushing. And I think defying the odds in those last few seconds and pulling out the round, impressive stuff for them. They will secure that 2-round lead, and they will be the first team to move ahead to match point.
And here we are. This could be the end. We'll go towards a site we saw won by In Control in their defense, that dining kitchen site. They've won it. That's the only site they won on their defense for In Control. Let's see if Achieve can do quite the same, as they're looking to have an actual small tower hold. Last time, that first round we saw from In Control, they didn't actually have a small tower hold. They just played aggressive when it came to that control from Achieve when they were walking into a small tower. But you can already see there's ADSs, there's frost mats, there's shields in place for Traken to play. Looks like he's playing his below angle like we've seen from other teams when he played that, you know, that you have a shield outside of dining. You can have a hole up towards that position to deny that one angle into small tower, that one window. And then because the frost mats on the other window, if someone were to jump in and try and take out Traken on the other angle, they would have to shoot the frost mat first, allowing for Traken to kill them. So it's kind of this kind of, you know, play from Achieve, and we'll see if In Control can actually figure a way to deal with this, or if they're just going to rotate, maybe just deal with the roam upstairs by dorms instead.
Traken now feeling a lot of pressure now from all sides. That's what In Control need to do, and they've got to do it as quick as humanly possible. A minute now burned off the clock. Traken still has a shield, a couple of ADSs, and a bear trap to support him. That C4, however, will not be very effective. There goes a deployable shield. Traken on the swing. He actually doesn't get it. It is Dunny who gets a kill in response onto Twizzler, but it was Twizzler from up top in T3. Well played, the Frost, making the trek all the way across the map, and it's going to pay off. Now track in, there's a good shot onto Serve in this position, still being held in control, in a lot of trouble if they let this happen.
Well, Dunny will make the play in. He'll actually be able to jump in. But TPA, that exact angle I was talking about, he takes out Badger behind Dunny. Down goes Tracken, finally playing that small tower position. But what cost to the attack? The attackers are down with 3 members trying to deal with the small tower play. And really at this point, INCONTROL doesn't have much control besides small tower. And we're down to the last minute. What intel, what real utility do they have to push themselves towards an execute? At this point, maybe better just try and go for kills, but we'll see with them. Looks like Dunny has some good intel on maybe a member inside of Kitchen. Reaper is pushing over towards his white stairs window, but so far I'm pretty sure Achieve at this point can just bunk down and wait, but never mind. Rocco gets aggressive, maybe not even aggressive, just rotating around, doesn't notice Reaper on the window. He'll go down. It's just Dunny and Reaper in a 2v2 though, tying it up. 45 seconds. They're gonna take the time they can to try and figure out where the last 2 defenders are.
They've got 40 seconds, and that is ample time. They've got 3 drones as well, Benny. They've got a lot to work with here, but they still haven't found TPA. They're not going to bother droning him out, and they're going to get taken down as a result. It's all up to Dunny. He'll find one. Now he seems to know exactly where Riot is positioned. Dunny also has the case in his pocket and really could go for this plant here or indeed hunt for this frag. Looks like he'll choose the latter, getting a couple of bullets on him, but now losing out on that engagement. Looks like he'll use that Finka boost to try to get back up to a reasonable amount of HP, but hunting for that frag, well, that means one thing. He's wasted the time he needed to put that bomb on the floor. He tried to hunt for it in those last few seconds, and Achieve will not let that happen. TPA, not able to make things happen in the end, but Achieve stepping up, making it work, taking their own map, and tying us up at 1-1.
7-4, 7-4. Both maps have gone the way of the person picking that map, or the team picking the map, and both the same score. Really interesting stuff, great stuff from the side of Achieve, though. They showed us that they know how to play the Oregon pretty damn well, both on attack and defense. Though we did see a spree of wins from INCONTROL that gave them. It was I guess the same thing from the side of, I guess it wasn't 6 in a row from Achieve like we saw from INCONTROL, but still seeing one team do dominating and another team try to bring it back at least somewhat is good to see from both teams. And now we'll see who can play Villa better.
Well, it's interesting, Benny, because we have seen attacking be really the most important part of both of these maps. It was Cafe, it was INCONTROL to step things up on their attacking side, and they got those 4 rounds. They took the momentum and they surprised Achieve a little bit. Now you look over here and it was Achieve who came out on their attacking side and got the 4 rounds they needed. So both of these teams have wanted to play defense on their opponent's map pick, and their opponent just simply doesn't care. They're going to take the round regardless. So obviously our final map, our decider of this series, is going to be Villa, and we've got that one coming up, and it again has a lot of potential to be attacker sided. It's one of those maps that could go either way, and the way the night is going, attacking seems to be all the rage. But Benny, you know what else is all the rage? Mavix gaming chairs. There's a Mavix holiday sale. It's holiday season. You got to do some holiday shopping. Why don't you take a look at the Mavix gaming chairs? They're all on sale for the holiday season. You can get guaranteed holiday delivery with orders placed by December 20th. You still got 4 days for that. You can save 4%, 5%, 7%, 9%, and get free shipping. On top of that, you can get $55 off with your code NSG55. You can shop the holiday sale now at Mavix.com. That is www.mavix.com. So we'll see you in a few minutes. But we got Villa, our decider map, coming up.
Hey, I'm Tragan, and I play with Achieved Esports. Honestly, I think everyone on my team has been through CO. I think everyone but Riot. So we know what is just to come when we play people like that. Honestly, I think we'll do good because we've all been in CO before and we know what to expect before going into the game. A lot of the CO teams have a lot of experience over us and just play time together as a team, so we just don't have the play time. I feel like that's the only thing. And weaknesses, I feel like we have a lot more gun skill than a lot of other teams. Honestly, Riot and Twiz were, I guess, the new players. We kind of just had me, TPA, and Morocco as the core, and they're goated. They're the GOATs. Definitely TPA. TPA is always trying to get us on, always trying to get us to scrim, dry run. We just have good vibes. We really have good vibes, and we like each other a lot. We're a good team together. I don't think there is a group of death. I think all the groups are pretty well balanced. You got a CO team in each one, and you got pretty sure one team that qualified in each bracket. Brackets are all pretty fair and pretty good.
Welcome to the NerdStreet Winter Championships, featuring SCS6, a yearly open tournament series hosting the best players and teams North America has to offer, culminating in a community favorite, the Pro-Am. So let's discuss format. During the Winter Champs season, SCS6 will consist of 2 stages, where each stage begins with 2 open qualifiers. Once Stage 1 is complete, there will be an additional tournament offering 1 more qualification spot prior to Stage 2. Through participating in SCS6, players will acquire leaderboard points and cash prizing. The winning teams from Stage 1 and 2, as well as the additional tournament, will qualify for the Pro-Am. The top 2 teams from the leaderboard will also qualify. As we approach the end of the season, the final qualification spot will be determined through a last chance qualifier. The Grand Finals of the Winter Champs SCS6 will feature the return of the Pro-Am, where the top amateur teams have an opportunity to define their talent against the North American Pro League. But in the end, only one team will be crowned Winter Champs. Sign up today and make history.
Make that a 1v2.
2 seconds left. It's gonna come down.
Favor making a third as he puts up. Make it up. He finds the draw 3. Stunning here from.
Well, in control, they take their map pick, then Achieve bring it right back and take their own map pick of Oregon in the very same fashion. 7-4 the scoreline after a back and forth, but attacker-focused Oregon.
Hey, we saw the expertise of INCONTROL when it comes to their attacks on Cafe, and we see the same from Achieve on their attack. And sure, there was that blip of the other team bringing it back and trying to even the score up. But once again, that team who picked the map solidify their lead and close out the map. So good to see that Chief picked this map for a reason. They knew what they were doing despite INCONTROL, bringing it back and bringing it close. And Chief still were able to, under the pressure, still play their game and bring us to map 3.
Well, on map 3, I talked about how these maps have been attacker focused, and we've seen a lot of these players that we've talked about tonight. We've talked about on the side of Achieve, we've talked about Track, and we've talked about Twizzler and TPA. And on the side of, on the side of INCONTROL, you know who we've been talking about. We've been talking about Reaper just constantly because he has been a monster on the entry. Once again, going 4-0. That is 11-0 on the entry on the day. This time we saw some competition. We saw Riot put on a really good performance, a 1.45 rating, strong KD. Didn't bother on the entry despite playing that Finca, left the entrying up to Twizzler, up to TPA. But a fantastic performance from Riot, really leading the team. Cost as well, exceptional, leading Achieve to a really good performance overall.
Yeah, Reaper once again he's crazy. He's really pulling his team. And you talked about that trio. That trio isn't quite there, but Riot at least is doing his there, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, in Villa, I expect to see the similar stuff. We've seen pretty similar themes from all these players from out these first 2 maps. And you head to Villa, it is, I'm not sure who's starting on the attacking side. It's decided by coin flip right off the bat.
I think it's in the receipts though. I should be in receipts already. Let's see.
Gonna be, Let's see, let's
it's
see.
it is. Wait, where
Not
is
even
it?
there.
It's
Not even
never
there.
mind. I thought it would be there. I guess I was wrong. Wait, where is
She
it?
will be defending. I
Oh
believe
no, here
that
it is. Yeah, yeah. Achieve is
their
defending,
choice.
control attacking. Okay.
Yeah. So, despite selecting defense, before all of this happened, I wonder if they're regretting that now, considering how attacker-sided this entire game has been, and considering that Villa does go both ways.
Yeah, Villa can go either attack or defense. It doesn't really matter. It's been even at certain times. It's gone defender side in the past, but recently too, especially in the last year or so, it's been more even to attacker side too. So maybe they're kicking themselves for that. Hard to say. Maybe we see a different turnout compared to the last couple maps. I don't know. We'll see what the bans are though from Achieve. They'll start us off, and I'm assuming it's gonna be Thatcher as per usual.
Right, we've seen the Thatcher a consistent removal on every single map so far. No reason to suspect why that would change here on Villa. The Flores is one thing that I suspect might change. It's less impactful on Villa compared to other maps. Something of those hard breachers might be more of a focus. Or the Jackal, right? We've seen Reaper use the Jackal extremely effectively, so maybe, nope, Achieve wanted to get off the board. It looks like it's going to be the Flores taken off the board. INCONTROL, of course, Reaper on that team. They want to keep the Jackal up. They want to allow him to use that operator, and they want to allow themselves to deal with any sort of roam that they're going to have to encounter right off the bat on the attacking side. So far tonight, we've seen the Valkyrie and the Mira consistently hated, consistently banned, and the Valkyrie is going to be that first, so nothing shocking there either.
Have we just having the same bans for every single map?
I think that's what we might have if the Mira is consistent here.
Well, let's see. They're gonna ban the Mirror because it is Villa. Mirror is pretty nice of Mirror on Villa too. And yeah, we've had the same exact 4 bans, 3 maps in a row. Wow.
I mean, we knew that kind of coming in, that we had this map pool. We knew what we'd expect.
True, yeah.
And hey, I mean, at least we're not going crazy and nothing out of the ordinary is happening. But sometimes you like to mix it up.
I want out of the annoy. When they banned Mute the other day, that was cool.
Yeah. I love when we see target bans as well, but these teams not quite familiar with themselves enough yet to make those target bans or to target a specific player to take off, right? Like something of the Aruni if you just hate Reaper and you just want to take the Roni out of his hands. I don't know. Just get creative at some point because the entry from Reaper has been out of control.
Yeah, we'll see. Hey, because in the end, like if they don't show something crazy, well, hopefully next week when they play the decider match of wins this, we'll show something crazy because you're going to be playing against Arrow Rise, barring any different changes. But they're going to play against Arrow Rise, and they can't be playing those defaults against a team like Arrow Rise. So we'll see, though. We're on Aviator games first for the defense of Achieve, and we'll see if this trend of attacker-sided, maps keeps going on Villa. INCONTROL first start us off. They're going to see how they attack this site, and if they're going to go for that, maybe go for that study side, go for the main stairs, or are they going to go for the master side and push towards going for that, that planting behind the skull door or the vault door?
Well, we'll have the Aviator in game setup going down here, and yeah, we'll have the Kaid from Twizzler. We'll just see him struggling with exactly where he wants to get that Electro Clone, that typical spot behind the bomb chassis. But as far as the rest of this lineup goes, nothing too crazy. Like you said, not seeing anything much out of the ordinary here. We will see an extension, at least a bit of a roam over towards that trophy and statuary side. Another aspect of an Aviator in games defense that we see all too often, right? Teams want to delay these attackers from getting into the building and clearing out this north side. And generally, you can do that for a good bit of time. They're going to use some reinforcements to support that position, but they don't want to risk their lives, and smartly so. Only 40 seconds off the clock, and Achieve are going to back off. Kraken is going to duck down below, and TPA is going to work his way back to the site, and he'll take up a position in Vault.
Surprisingly, too, they've already backed off, but in that essence, INCONTROL still used the Excalibur from Surf to open up that tri-wall from bedroom to statuary. So a bit of a waste of Excalibur you may need later on. Probably what she was going for in that roam. So that's kind of a way, wasting some utility. Didn't waste a whole lot of time, but utility is a big one here. So it comes to, opening walls up, and only bringing one Heart Breacher in serve. So the Excaliburs are important. You're going to probably need them later on to open up that single panel into Aviator to, cut off any rotates if it gets to that point, or maybe open up Vault as well. Reaper having some drones downstairs, seeing if anybody from Achievers playing for a C4 later on, and nobody's down there. INCONTROL pushing forward, and Achievers at this point are all pretty on site, just waiting for INCONTROL to make the move. What is the game plan from them? They're going for that classical take so far. Is anybody going to rotate towards study, or are they maybe going for Vault?
TPA just going prone here. Doesn't have a C4, so that's not going to be his mission, but he does have an impact, and that is what he's going to try to do. Try to get these X-Kairos pellets off the wall. First impact misses, but the second will land. Good thing, though, for Serb is he's got more of where that came from. But an Electro Claw, actually, will work its way towards the wall. Good throw from Twizzler, and that means a nade is going to have to come through, an impact from the Zofia or something.
I don't think you can't grenade that because it's on the other side of the wall inside the games.
True.
So
they're going to have a bit of trouble here.
Yeah.
They're going to have much more trouble now that Draken is swinging out in the classical hall. Dunny is taken down. Badger will fall. A great use of the shield here on the maps table from Riot. Serve still on the 90 repel. Will try to get something going, but unable to do so again, and INCONTROL forced to scramble around.
Yeah, this is kind of a one-sided take. Nobody rotating towards the other side, towards Study to try and, make a different play. Because if you're going to go for that play behind the vault door, you need to have someone open up the aviator wall. But again, it's going to be electrified though, so that's quite ahead. Riot taking heavy shots from maybe through that angle from 90. They opened up that wall. Great shot from Riot behind the shield. He takes out one. TPA getting aggressive too, but the shield is still up. Such a huge boon for the defense. The fact that INCONTROL couldn't destroy that utility that helps them outplay that utility is gonna be a flawless round from Achieve, and then in the end this just time runs out anyway for Achieve. They'll win the round heavily in their favor to start us off here on Villa.
It really felt like that round ended when they couldn't get the vault wall open. I mean, INCONTROL from that point, they froze and they just took gunfights, right? They're like, oh gosh, we can't get this wall open. That's all but confirmed, as you astutely pointed out, Benny. And they just decided to swing on the aviator door, and then they died. They tried to swing on the classical door and push into games, and they died. And then it was just go over to Study, try to get something going from outside, and Achieve. They read into that. They shut it down, and they opened up with a very successful defensive round. That attack just never really stood a chance once that wall was denied. That kind of happens sometimes when you put so much focus into one position, when the defenders just kind of outclass you and just outthink you in terms of the utility they're going to throw at that position. Sometimes you have to make a last-minute pivot on the fly and just go crazy and hunt for some frags, and unfortunately for INCONTROL, they just couldn't do that in time.
Yeah, especially with the operators of the bot. You think with the Buck, they were joining downstairs too. You think they maybe go downstairs and use some of that skeleton key to use to try and open up walls. At least maybe they can't really get rid of that one electrical claw because they probably couldn't figure where it was, but they could have maybe even gotten that electrical open towards that Study side and then open up that single wall, get rid of the shield. But and again, it's that utility, it's that having that, game decisions, make the decisions on the fly is always difficult, I guess. And from our side, we can figure things out obviously from a top-down view, but I guess in the game, making those last-minute decisions is very difficult for teams. But we'll go on to Sturtry's trophy statuary next for Achieve. We're going to see how INCONTROL do this one, because so far it seems like maybe they are stalling out. They're not really making quite the decisions they need to be when it comes to these late rounds.
We're here on trophy and statuary now. And we saw the extension on that side of the map last time, a brief one at that, but we saw one nonetheless. But we're not going to see it this time on that side because that's where the site is instead. The extension, if any, is going to be on this aviator and game side. And yes, looks like we will see some defensive presence in aviator, in games, and maybe in vault itself. The first player standing in INCONTROL's way, that's going to be TPA, naturally on the Malusi, playing close behind that reinforcement, looking to just swing, send a couple of bullets downrange, and apply a little bit of pressure towards this INCONTROL side as much as he can. Again, with some impacts in hand, can also deny these X-Kairos pellets. Serve will know that, and will know that this is going to be likely a bit of a waiting game. He'll have to, use a couple of those X-Kairos pellets at a time, because TPA has expertly dealt with the majority of those pellets as they came down towards the wall. But now that 60 seconds have been wasted, TPA no longer has any impact, and nobody else on the side of Achieve does. They're going to back off and no longer contest this aviator and game side of the map.
That was a good Twitch drone, though. Twitch drone got both electric claws from Twizzler that were both applied to that tri-wall. So they should be able to get this wall open, well, barring the fact that they may have not many X-Kairos left because they wasted quite a few of them on this aviator wall. But now they've wasted utility, they've gained some time as well. They're gonna back off. Ooh, Dunny with the great intel onto 1C4 pre-placed, pushing into Boar from the side of Achieve. But so far, somebody from Achieve, or from INCONTROL, needs to go towards the bedroom side, open up this wall, and start getting rid of some of these rotates. Start trying to cut off these defenders from moving around towards the Astro side. For the moment, it looks like INCONTROL will do that, using that Twitch drone to good use to get rid of this utility for later on.
Well, now Achieve know that there's a good bit of pressure building, so they've got to be careful about exactly where it's coming from. Most of that still geared up from that red stairs side of things, from that board window as well. They're trying to pressure both statuary and trophy simultaneously, and well, a good bit of pressure towards the master windows as well will prove quite effective. Serve on the opener, Dunny with a follow-up, Badger seconds that onto TPA, and just like that, it's Tracken and Morocco who have to pull out some kind of miracle here. Tracken, or yeah, cut out in the open. Morocco will get two, denying the plant there. Actually, Reaper will still stick that one in the corner, but as much of a valiant effort as it was, that was something that was unlikely to happen in the 1 versus 5. Nearly got the kill there, but it was quickly denied. And in control, after a very messy start, will come right back in round 2, and they'll take a win.
That was chaos, really. That just kind of kicked off all of a sudden, 0 to 100. 1 minute I was just waiting for the play, and next thing you know, they start pinching out the players in master. So on the master balcony, they're pre-firing from that couch's red stair landing position, and then any player there was just getting caught out. They start pushing on the site. They take care of the people on board that were playing as well, back of trophy. And it just seemed like they were just winning every single gunfight pointing towards site, leaving it to a 2v5. And even that member that was playing trophy that tried to push out of there, he gets cut off from bricks. And just leaves one person playing split to try and take a fight. He takes one player out, but he swings on attack, and attack just finishes him off. And really, not a whole lot, but more than anything, just the fact that in control, that Twitch drone was working great to just deal with utility. On top of the fact that in the end, sure, they always rotate towards bedroom, and I'm not sure if they had the intel, but they played that bedroom so well just playing on the balcony. So either intel or just drone work from In Control, looking good once again on this map.
Well, Achieve will make the tough decision to go to the same bomb site yet again. Something that we often mention, teams choosing to go to the same site twice after an unsuccessful defense. It's always a bit of a risk because you know that the attacking team has it down and they can attack it just fine. But at the same time, you also know, theoretically, what the mistakes you've made and how you can correct those mistakes. So Achieve opting for the latter option and hoping that, maybe they can make a couple of adjustments, whether that's going to be holding Aviator in games a little bit longer or not exposing themselves to the master windows in those closing moments when it comes to that execute. Whatever those adjustments may be, we're going to see how they can try to bounce back on this trophy and statuary side. At least in terms of adjustments, we are actually seeing In Control make some adjustments of their own, not opting to contest head on that extension onto the Aviator and game side. Instead, just pushing straight into this first floor and going for a little pressure down below.
Well, last time they used a Twitch to get rid of these electric claws and get rid of the gadgetry on the side of Achieve. This time they're bringing the buck instead. Reaper will drop that, but Brackens, he's catches Badger jumping into those pantry stairs, and that's where droning, I talk about maybe their intel was good last round, but maybe not so much. They don't drone and figure out that there's one player in the basement of Tracken walking around taking fights, but he's already made his way back to Astro Stairs. He gets that pick, pulls back towards site, gives the team of Achieve the lead. Now they're gonna wait to see what the plan is to control. That buck of Reaper is still gonna work though and deal with those electric claws on the wall, depending on if Twizzler is holding him in his hand or if he's gonna be placing the ball early. Great shot from Rocco on attack though to start them off, and now they're in the lead. 2 members in the lead, 3 members in the lead already.
Wow, what a way to just shut down the attack before he could even get in the building. I mean, look at Serb. He's still outside on the master balcony, and he is quickly down. Reaper is nowhere close to the Habana to actually get up there and assist her. Now, it's possible he could take the time and rotate around, but instead, it looks like he will opt for just taking a couple of gunfights and going for these swings. TPA, he, however, is going to catch Reaper out from behind. A couple of shots. Reaper wasn't even paying attention, looking the other way. So Achieve will not only adjust and win the round, but they will take it in a flawless fashion.
Yeah, I guess maybe I cursed them saying that their intel was good because they had no intel on Tracken in the basement, leading to Badger's death jumping into pantry stairs. And on top of that, we saw members from In Control dying left and right. We'll be coming through that, that master games. We saw them pushing through the closet, and it was just Achieve fighting through those holes, shooting through bathrooms, shooting through Brick's door, and just winning fight after fight after fight. And in the end, it just seems like In Control, sure, they had a plan there. They were looking to take control of that bottom floor and use that vertical control with the buck. but in the end, they just didn't have the intel they needed to deal with the roamers, or in the end, just even know where these people were peeking from on the Chief side. So we go back to Aviator Games for another try. They won the last one. We'll see if they can win it once again.
Well, yeah, we're back to where they've started. Last time, INCONTROL on their approach struggled pretty much the entire way, right, Ben? I mean, we highlighted that maybe they initially tried to push in, clear that extension out. They did. They worked their way up to the 90 hall, but then the attack basically lived and died on the vault wall. And so even if INCONTROL want to go for that approach again, we're going to have to see them have a backup plan. Have some sort of contingency that if this defense from Achieve can outsmart them on that wall yet again, that they have another plan that they can approach from that isn't going to be set up at the very last minute, that they can maybe work on establishing during all of that pressure towards the vault wall, so that they have another option if they need to fall back to it. Now, we'll have to wait a while to see exactly what those options will be. For now, it seems that we will have a little bit of an entry towards the bottom floor, as it looks like Reaper will be setting that one up. And well, Badger droning this one out, looks like they'll be eager to clear out anybody who might be lurking down below. Now, TPA, he is going for the tried and true sit in a corner rat roam style play. He's gone unnoticed for now. Question is, for how long can he remain undetected?
Well, you say that, there's one member of the Aruni getting pinged out tracking. He'll get pinged. He'll back off towards red stairs. He'll take some shots, but he'll stay alive. And no, TPA, he was unnoticed, I thought, but Tack will take his head off as he pre-fires towards the main double door. Riot next on the main stairs, but should allow for INCONTROL to take that library living room, use that vertical pressure to try and deal with these, shields, anything on the side of Achieve that last time really played to their denying of that one side take from INCONTROL side. So Wizard looking through the holes, seeing if anybody's gonna walk up main stairs, tracking though will take out Dunny. As looks like Dunny may have been just playing that study balcony a bit too ambitiously.
Well, now in an even 4v4, INCONTROL knows they can slow things down a little bit. I mean, obviously, with that opening pick, they'd like to have kept that player alive, but they know this one is still doable, still even. And even though there's a lot of utility devoted to main stairs, it looks like INCONTROL have it in their minds to kind of just brute force this. A nice nade going straight up above, dealing with Morocco. One more player to deal with on these stairs is going to be Riot. Very aggressive for him to hold this position so late in the round, but he'll use Twizzler as a distraction, and he'll get that kill from above. But yeah, Riot is not able to do much from that odd extended position on the main stairs. So Achieve still on the back foot. They started on the back foot, and they remain on the back foot with 50 seconds to play.
Well, so far, it looks like Reaper's trying to tear those floorboards from below them and try and find a member, or at least push them off these positions and push them positions where INCONTROL can cut them off and get those kills. Tracken's backed off to red stairs, maybe to make a flank later on, but it leaves Twizzler by himself on site. He doesn't want to leave Twizzler by himself as they push through the classical hallway. Great pings for Achieve. So Tracken with great information, pushing up. There's the flank watch there. No, nobody has any flank watch there. Badger goes down. Tracken will get one pick, and it looks like Reaper is trying to play off of it. Down goes one. So Reaper and Serve now have to try and play off of this as they're pushing through. Twizzler, great shot in the Serve. They will pick up Badger, but it's low health for every single member. Tracking, great shots lying down, and left second one for him as Achieve will take round 4.
Achieve really doing a good job in that 2v3 in the closing moments to pull that one out. Everyone was so low HP, but especially those last two defenders. One shot, both of them had to go flawless in those gunfights, and even then, they had to take some risks in order to bring that one back. We saw a massive risk swinging around into study onto those players building up in the classical hall, especially on low HP. That is a bold move, to say the least. But hey, it worked. It crippled INCONTROL. It put them in a really weird spot where they didn't exactly know where those last defenders were. They had to worry about their backside, about somebody swinging from study, and at the same time, with the limited amount of time they had left, they had to worry about pushing into games. Multitasking like that, it's often the boon of many attacking teams, especially in a 2v2 or a 3v2 situation. And, well, we saw that problem exactly happen to INCONTROL yet again. Great play from Achieved, a 3-1 lead on this defense. And as much as we talked about the attack and how powerful that could be, so far, INCONTROL has been, for the most part, shut down.
Yeah, they had some great picks when it comes to starting the round out for INCONTROL, but they didn't quite get maybe the mileage they wanted out of that skeleton key. Great way of just dealing with the person on main stairs, but they're getting picked off as they push main stairs. They had a great grenade as well, attacking the first 2 picks for his team in that round. So there was some great early round coverage from from In Control. When it comes to that late game, like you saying before, the fact that they swung study though was really just a backup fast that Chief had the info, knowing that In Control, 3 last 2 members weren't expecting someone to swing study. The fact you saw those red pings going off in those moments, and the fact that nobody from In Control expected someone to flank them is kind of crazy to me.
Well, the timeout here naturally from In Control in an effort to remedy some of the issues they've had on the attack. They'll be looking to go forward into what they know will now be this either a living room library or a kitchen and dining defense. We know it's going to be the kitchen and dining site. They're going to need to know how they want to approach this and figure out what it is they've been doing wrong in the last few rounds, right? And they haven't been doing a ton wrong, but they just haven't been able to close out rounds when it looks like they might have an edge, especially in that last round. And I hate to belabor the point, but they held a pretty strong advantage. They started with the opening pick, and they couldn't really use it to their advantage because they still had a lot of utility to clear out. That's fine. But then they had another kill in response, and they actually held the advantage yet again. At that point, in a 3v2 with 2 very low HP defenders, you got to just keep things tidy, right? You've got to keep things relatively calm, and you've got to be aware that the defense has to make an aggressive move. Achieve did that, and that's how they caught In Control off guard. So on this attack, especially one that depends so heavily on top floor map control and map control as a whole, you got to be aware of the flanks, and you've got to be aware of a cheeky defender hiding in a corner who wants to make his impact felt.
Unfortunately, TPA last round couldn't really do that as a cheeky defender at the beginning. We'll see if he can, maybe he's doing it this time, but like you said, control is important here. We need to see what In Control, what are they going to, I feel like I hate how their name is In Control sometimes because they talk about control, but we'll see. It looks like they're going to try and open up the wall. Kraken's there. He's just sitting there, just shooting off those X-Gyros. And again, it seems like they're only bringing 1 Heartbreacher. So now they're down to 6 X-Gyros pellets. They didn't drone in pantry. They didn't know Kraken was there. So a lack of intel, just losing all of those X-Gyros pellets could prove to be an issue if they're going to go for a playthrough laundry. If they're going to make that playthrough pantry later on. It looks like there is something served. Drawing downstairs. Doesn't see TPA actually. And I think someone's outside of that barrel as well, going for it. Like, yeah, Reaper's looking to play downstairs. If they don't know TPA is downstairs, Reaper could get caught off guard.
Yeah, TPA still sneaking around. Reaper, he's gonna just tuck tail and run. He doesn't want to deal with any unknown, doesn't have a teammate to immediately support him, doesn't want to maybe waste another drone on that area. So shifting things up and maybe looking to support his teams on that top floor, naturally, because he is the sledge after all, and so vertical control is generally a sledge's forte. We saw C4 go off there, I think, again, to deny those X-Kairos pellets. Now that Serve has none, they've all been successfully burned away. That is an incredibly good use of utility from this defense, and even still, you still have 2 impacts in TPA's hand, 2 impacts in Riot's hand, and 2 more C4s. Really well played from Achieve so far in terms of simple utility denial.
And there's only 1 minute and 10 seconds to go, and what has In Control achieved here? That's his name sometimes, he's like killing me. But looks like they have control of Bicycle. They have control of maybe the red hallway pushing towards China. So there is some control for them, but really, it's not a lot to go off of. They're going to walk in Twizzler with a first pick onto Badger, who was pushing through that red hallway. So while they're pushing through, they're not aware of these flanks, not aware of members. Reaper, though, will trade back on a track and on site, and then push the way through. TPA, does he know one's right there? Yes, he does. He swings. Reaper still wins the fight. Riot elsewhere goes down to Serve. It's down to Twizzler and Morocco, who have to come back to site and try and deal with these attackers who have no full control. With no man on board, those air jabs will fully signal where they're coming from. C4 to open up and play. Lying down is Reaper, who loses the fight, but Dunny takes out Morocco. Now Dunn just Twizzler on low HP. He loses the fight to Dunny, and In Control will take a round back.
Well, despite the challenges that In Control had with the utility and just getting that pantry wall open and just starting the round in the way that it looked like they wanted to start it, they honestly completely turned what we saw as the troubling pattern emerging on its head. Rather than like not being able to close out a round that they should have won, this was them closing out a round that they shouldn't have won. It was Achieve maybe giving up a little bit of edge in those last few seconds when In Control, they were out of options, Benny. I mean, they had almost nothing to do but walk in a doorway. And they were allowed to do that, weren't they? I mean, it started off with the sledge just kind of walking in through China, I believe he did.
Yep.
Just kind of walking into the middle of kitchen and nobody really cared. Like it was a couple of moments where In Control just kind of walked in, one player able to catch Achieve off guard, and then from that point able to leverage that bit of surprise and then use it from everywhere. They could then walk into Memo, they could then walk in just through that laundry door, they could then pressure from just about everywhere. And I think In Control played that really well. Don't get me wrong, they used those last few seconds and just kind of fragged out, but Achieve, they were startlingly unaware that In Control had only the one option and the walk-in option, and well, Achieve let that happen.
Yeah, especially when Morocco got that first pick onto Badger, pushing from Bicycle in. That should have been a warning sign to Achieve that In Control at that point just had to walk through doorways. You need to come back to site and deny that. Unfortunately, from Achieve, they didn't quite figure that out, allowing for all people, it's Reaper of all people, to let you walk in the door. That's quite not a person you want to let in the building, let into the site for you. So, well, we are gone to what is the last round for the defense of Achieve, looking to go 4-2 in their half. Back to that trophy statuary site where it's been a mix of, it's been a win for Achieve, but it's also been a win for In Control in the past. So let's see what they this time, if they can win it out once more.
So oddly enough, the round where In Control decided to avoid the extension and go to the site more directly was the round that Achieve won by a country mile. When In Control actually cleared this extension out entirely, that's when they found the most success. And that's why I'm not surprised to see them doing that yet again. They want to just challenge into this defense head on, and by doing so, waste utility, maybe waste a couple of defenders if they can get a kill or two here, or at least, you know, force them to rotate back and just take control from this side. That it worked for them last time, and while normally I would suggest maybe avoiding it because there's so much utility that the defense wants you to push into, it worked. So if it ain't broke, why fix it?
Exactly. Well, this time though, TP won't be able to retreat, and he'll get taken out by MX Reaper. And really, that's interesting. The first time we had this site and they had that roam work well is because they were able to impact trick those Skyros, but unfortunately, a bit too late and maybe misplaced impact from TP will allow him to swing into study, get that pick through that single wall, or at least through the door, because he has to either go through the wall or the doorway. And that pushes one kill off, C4 off from tracking into Aviator. Won't get a kill. No intel to really go off. It just goes off his game sense there. And In Control, not only have they cleared the roam, but they've got a kill off of it too. So now at this point, we need to see them rotate towards that master side. And last time too, the reason they won the round two was especially the fact that that Twitch drone from Reaper did so much work in dealing with the gadgets on site. Will Achieve, well, I guess will MX Reaper have that same success with that Twitch drone?
That's the question, right? He's been very good on it in the past. We'll see it walk its way in. I do believe that was the Twitch drone that Blizzard may have just shot out there. Either way, Reaper's got another, so he'll still be droning out regardless. Looks like that one is going to be shot out, though, because he has expended that drone, and he'll be forced to just, well, use the whole regular drone he's got in his pocket there. Actually, there's a swing from Tracken. He'll take down Sir, but Badger responds in kind, and Reaper will, well, use the F2. Doesn't need a Twitch drone for that. He'll take care of Twizzler just as well. Morocco now, it's his turn to get aggressive, and the SMG-11 will work wonders for him. Riot now trying to shut down a push from the Boar side, and it will work. There goes Tack. Morocco now, C4 a little bit late, and a good spray from Dunny will take care of him just as well. At last player standing is Riot from this defense. In Control, searching for that 3-3 half, and it's all but confirmed unless Riot with low HP can pull out a miracle. Dunny, nice shot all the way from Master. Not going to allow that to happen. We've got a 3-3 half on map 3. Looks like this one is going to be just as competitive as we could ever want.
That's what you want to see. Nothing too crazy. Both teams going head to head. We see these strats being changed up. They're changing the way they do things. And despite the time, this time they weren't able to get rid of the electric cloud. They weren't able to open the wall even into Statuary. It still worked in the favor of In Control. They get that first pick onto the roamer of TPA, playing by Aviator. They push forward for that play into, you know, going for trophy statuary from that north to south side. And sure, they weren't able to get the wall open, but still getting the entry into Master was huge there. Both Badger and I believe Serve jump into bedroom. One person jumps in the closet, one jumps through the bedroom window. Sure, Tracken gets one, but he gets refragged. Then with that master control, they can leverage different angles for the attack there. And you saw, even though Dunny had, well, not Dunny, Reaper didn't have any Twitch drones to work off of, he had the F2 in hand, getting frags on his team, getting those kills, And really, they had, even though there isn't really a opening walls, the fact they still can get those kills is huge for In Control. We got to see if Achieve can achieve the same thing as we go to trophy statuary first for In Control's defense.
Yeah, switching up the half here, it's going to be interesting to see if the same, back and forth pattern continues. It did look like Achieve, was held that edge for a while on defense. I mean, they took the first round, they held a 3-1 lead, but In Control did what they do best. They pulled it back. They made that comeback. And, well, naturally, we sit here all tied up at 3. So it may just come down to, who can chain more rounds together in a row, who can snag the momentum away from their opponents, because both of these teams seem to be incredibly evenly matched. And to remind everybody, this is an elimination game. We're on map 3. The loser will no longer have a spot in this first split of SCS6. The winner will move ahead to that decider match in Group A, where the winner of that will move on to the playoffs. That'll be Aerial Arise they play against in that decider after Aerial lost to Two-Face yesterday. So a lot to look forward to for both of these teams, but also there is a lot to fear. You do not want to be one of these teams getting out in the group stage, losing out so early. And, well, the conclusion of Villa will give us our answer.
Yep. They saw a 3-3 half there. Both teams teetering on the edge to winning this map right now. We got to see if, one of these teams can pull out something different now they switch halves and they've switched sides. Can they pull out something different to throw their teams off? And like, Jay-Z was saying, if they can pull the momentum to their side, pull that, mental fortitude on their side, see if they can, throw their enemies off, as we're looking to see Achieve push downstairs. This trophy statuary defense, they're going to take control of that bottom floor. Look to maybe open the floor up, because there's no Kaid coming out from In Control compared to what we saw from Achieve. It's always the mute jammers. So this guy, open the floor from below, destroy those mute jammers, and then they can open the wall up with the Hibana of Morocco. So TP will do just that. He'll destroy the first one, actually goes down. So now Morocco should no problem shooting these Excalibur's off and cutting off any rotates from the defenders going between, through split from Astro's side. As Reaper's going to push up, maybe he sees the drones, as he sees the Twitch drone come through, he'll destroy it, make sure they can't, he's seen how well he can do with those Twitch drones. On his side, he's going to make sure that the enemy team can't do that either.
Well, on their defense, Achieve, what they were so focused on was denying those X-Kairos pellets, and In Control, they've kind of done the exact opposite. Minimal hard breach denial, no effort to impact trick. I mean, Reaper's got the cam, doesn't have those impacts, and we don't see any impacts, only the 1 C4. So just focused on holding down this site, and they don't mind if the wall gets opened up here or there. And I think that's a smart decision, right? They're not committing too much utility to that and focusing that utility elsewhere.
I'd say that too, but there's so many long angles now with it open though too. Like, sure, they're not really aware, but now it's up to gunfights, up to them, up to In Control to win some of these fights. Though I will say Achieve doesn't have much control, but below actually Serve taking damage from below at TPA. He was already low HP, and he goes down to maybe an impact from TPA from below. Twizzler will finish Badger off in a kill, and now it's down to just really they're pushing on the site. Reaper will take 1 kill on the Riot. TP with the kill, and Reaper will finish him off and refrag. And he'll see Tracken will finish off Surf, who already get hit by an impact, and pick back up, as Morocco's going to throw flashes down to Dunny and Tack. And with full control of these long angles, Dunny and Tack have to play aggressively now and take fights and see if he can win them against these last 4 attackers.
Yeah, Achieve have effectively bullied both Dunny and Tack just off the site. They've forced them just slowly and methodically off the site completely. And by doing so, now they've gotten the bomb down. Now all they have to do is just sit behind a wall and just play the post plant. Tracken, who won't sit behind a wall, he'll just sit on the floor. Morocco, holding a long angle of his own, will take down one. And then there, Tack is not much longer for the world, as TPA will be the one credited with that kill. A great attack there from Achieve overall, getting every single one of those steps on that long checklist done, pressuring from below, taking care of that mute jammer, pressuring from Master, getting that wall open. And like you said, Benny, while the utility saved by letting the wall get open with those Kairos pellets is nice, sure, you now have so many more angles to worry about, and In Control just could not win a fight on any of those angles, it seemed.
I definitely agree with that. It just seemed like, yeah, sure, you save some utility, but having those walls open, just having that far long range all the way towards trophy, and then on top of that, having TPA below, just, impacting the floor, he pushes on Astro, nobody from, and because of that extension, the members of the defense are coming back into the angles already opened up by the attack that they're watching for. So TPA has full control of Astro stairs, pushes on to Astro, takes that control, so nobody's there from the defense for what reason. And then from there, they can leverage that to fights against the defense that are trying to return through Boar, return from Couch into the site. And that's that point. It's just Achieve winning gunfights again and again, having the longer scopes and the better guns to do so with. So, well, we go on to INCONTROL. They're doing another site. They're going to Aviator Games this time. It looks like they're going to be roaming downstairs. Compared to what we saw from Achieve, they didn't really roam downstairs much at all. At least for site.
Right. I mean, at least Achieve were focused more on extensions on the top floor, right? They were on Aviator and Games. They extended over toward Trophy and Statuary and vice versa. They didn't do a lot of legitimate extensions downstairs with utility and everything. They did just more of a couple of roamers, but INCONTROL this time, they want to support those roamers with that utility. You've got some Vulcan shields, some reinforcements, several castle barricades, and if Dunny is going to be holding it down, you've got a very valuable C4, likely in part what this setup is designed for. Because if Achieve don't want to go through the painstaking process of clearing Dunny and all of this utility out, they run the risk of having that plant denied in the last second by a nice C4 from beneath.
Even before that, if they just walk towards the vault and you can just, I've seen so many times that people just hear those footsteps right by a vault and just C4 that position, because it's a lot of chokeholds here on Villa, especially coming towards Aviator Games. Different angles, classical hallway, going towards Skull. There's a lot of different choke points you can easily see for members of the attack coming through because you expect them to walk through. Intel, you can play up intel from defenders who are playing by the position. So, well, looks like so far that Twitch drone will destroy, I think, a couple things for Reaper. He's going to pre-fire towards board, but nobody from Achieve has really done anything just yet. And really, it looks like none of them are really going for that downstairs. They're not going to play for it. So a C4 could be on somebody's name. A Reaper, though, once again with the opening pick onto Morocco. A Heart Breacher, the only Heart Breacher brought by the attack, like we saw from INCONTROL. That could be a vital play for Achieve.
Yeah, that's a fantastic opener for the defensive side. You've lost those X-Kairos pellets. Like you said, Benny, you've lost your only hard breach resource on a site that often depends on your ability to open up a couple more of these angles, right? Normally, you might have Morocco go repel to the 90 window that we just saw Riot open up with that Gone 6, but without Morocco, somebody else is going to have to staff that position, and you're going to have to find another way to approach the site other than that vault wall. Now, positioning in vault is going to be incredibly easy for INCONTROL, and Achieve know that, and they know they've got to come up with another option on this attack. It looks like it's going to be just a typical Aviator approach. Twizzler, great coverage, will take down Reaper, who was a little bit too eager to get that swing for his own good. But now, with 50 seconds, Achieve are going to have to contend with these Shumikas from Badger. They're not going to have to contend with Tak or the Jaeger for much longer. Another great kill from Tracken to open things up even more.
It was looking good because they had no X-Kairos for heart breaching, but members of INCONTROL are now taking fights, peeking into the attackers, and the attackers are winning every single one of those fights. Dunny goes on kill, but again, serve goes down to Riot. Now with control of Study, they can try to leverage that control even farther. Dunny's downstairs with a C4 in his hand. TPA, because they can just run by the speaking grenades. Tracken kills TPA. Riot downs Dunny, though, is now down just one member in Badger, and he's getting shot from two different directions. Achieve will take another round in their favor on the attack, and it's going pretty well in their favor so far.
Yeah, that's 2 in a row, and I'm not going to get ahead of ourselves here because we've seen a lot of these teams, just make a comeback kind of out of nowhere. We've seen it, in both of these maps, we've seen one team start off strong and the other team just defy expectations and then start off strong right back. So we'll see how things continue for INCONTROL, but yeah, Benny, that is 2 very successful rounds in a row for Achieve. We have seen multiple team kills from Tracken now. I think, like TPA said in all chat, that is the second time that Tracken has killed TPA in a very similar situation. But it didn't seem to matter in this round because Achieve were able to pull it out regardless. They were able to isolate those final few defenders and get those few kills that they needed. But like you said, Benny, I will admit I was a little bit perplexed why INCONTROL tried to get so aggressive after getting that kill onto the Hibana. It's possible they didn't know it was the Hibana who died. I mean, Morocco has been very consistent on the Hibana and should have seen her. It's pretty likely they knew. And if they did, it's even more confusing as to why we saw several players take gunfights that were far too aggressive for their own good. It started with Reaper on the Wamai, who challenged onto Study, I believe it was.
Yep.
Or no, he challenged onto the Aviator door.
Yeah, Red Stairs, yeah.
And then I think we saw one player, I think it was Serve possibly, who got just who ran into Study itself and tried to get a bit too aggressive and then kind of got caught in a crossfire. I'm not sure if it was Serve, but regardless, somebody got stuck in Study when they shouldn't have because they took the Hibana down. All they had to do was just anchor, use those Shumikas from the Tachanka, and just lock down the site as long as possible.
Yeah, and especially to the player as well. There's another player in Classical who had the shield as well, and they had a shield to favor to hold Classical, but even though they had a shield, they still peaked tracking and lost that fight. So again, these are positions you have that are bunkered down in your advantage, but then you discard the advantage and you go for fights. It's puzzling, perplexing. Why would you do this? But you know, hey, well, 5-3 in the favor of Achieve. Achieve will take those fights and they'll take them willingly if you're going to throw them away. We'll see. We go to Dining and Kitchen for next slate for In Control, and we're looking to see a horizontal roam from In Control. I'm not sure if anybody's vertically roaming for the moment, but it looks like Achieve are going to face forward towards this horizontal roam and try to deal with Dunny.
Right, a horizontal roam, but also very focused on this horizontal roam clear. And right off the bat, it will go very well. Riot will claim the opener onto Reaper, who has not been able to go as crazy as he has in the past. I mean, especially but first map success. We haven't seen anything like the 19 kills he was able to find. Oh, TPA. Ooh. Nice shot there onto Dunny. Just honestly holding left click on the LMG is all you really got to do. But great intel work from Achieved to know where the Kapkan was positioned. And now, In Control, they're kind of getting desperate. They know they're in a tough spot in this 3v5. Badger knows he's in a weird spot on the map itself, and he's got to get aggressive and just hope that a couple of kills can find the way back towards this team, and it looks like it will work at least for one. Serve on the swing will take down TPA. He'll get flashed out and forced to fall back, and Badger now wants to get aggressive as well.
He's taking heavy fire from living room, but he's knowing the positions. But he's also getting shot in the side, it seems like. But he'll swing Memorial. Tracking will take him down. And Twizzler walks into a frost mat. Unfortunately, double matted that closet. So now at this point, it's still serve and tack in a 2v3. Or 2v, technically 3v3, because Twizzler isn't getting brought up by that Vinca charge either, actually. Maybe there's now a range to it, but serve. Actually, I don't know. Can you bring people back up if they're in a frost?
Probably not in a bear trap. Yeah,
probably not a bear trap. I think that's true. Yeah. So serve at this point, he's on low HP. Tack elsewhere, looking to maybe make a play. And if they do push Memorial and try to pick up Twizzler as he's waiting for a chaw, but it's still 45 seconds. Still quite a lot of time for Achieve to take this slow and figure things out.
And they have the man advantage after all. And the question is, are they going to get up Twizzler, and do they want to fight in that 4v2, or do you think they're comfortable enough in the 3v2 to make things happen? I think it's going to be the 3v2 unless Morocco wants to take a brief detour. It looks like he's only going to find his grave as Tack is playing above and is fragging out. Serve as well, despite being on incredibly low HP, will be very effective, and this just turned into a very tough 1v1. Tack from above has eyes on the diffuser, but loses Tracken at the last moment. A spray through the wall won't be effective. This diffuser is going to go down, and now Tack's position is known. Tracken looks like he wants to take this fight. He'll get overly aggressive. He wanted to catch Tack by surprise, but it's not going to pay off, and the Jaeger will win that fight, and In Control will do more than stay alive. They'll finally find a bomb site they can win and narrow the margin to just one round.
Is where In Control come back now? Is it the same thing as always?
Hey, it could happen.
It could happen. Hey, well, that was just, again, looked great for the side of Achieve. They found multiple early picks for their team. They had, well, there was one trade back, but for the most part, it was a 4v2 by the mid round. And by that point, it was looking great. But again, intel is the issue. They didn't quite know where Serve was. Serve was playing inside, just kind of dotting around between China, between, kitchen and dining, trying to find picks. And he was doing well in that position. Tack upstairs had a long angle from above into Memorial, and they didn't quite know where he was there. So when he gets that pick in the person diffuser, that's huge. And Twizzler, unfortunately, jumps into a frost mat. And because of time, because of not intel, they didn't want to pick up Twizzler, not knowing where these defenders were. So they let him, unfortunately, bleed out in that frost mat. And from there, you see it was just kind of tumbling down due to a lack of intel, due to just kind of pushing in sight, kind of solo here and there from the side of Achieve.
Right, I mean, that last one from Achieve, it started off so well, right? I mean, then the bear trap kind of slowed things down, but even with one player falling in the bear trap, we highlighted that they still had the advantage, right? And they didn't need to, I don't think they had to slow things down as much as they did. Especially considering they just, like you said, Benny, kind of just walked in one at a time after that. It raises kind of a little bit of alarm here. Because like, oh, what are you doing sitting around for a minute? Like, what are you exactly trying to get done? Are you trying to get some intel? Are you trying to reposition your attackers? I don't think they did either. They were just maybe waiting for In Control to swing them. And those last two defenders were a little bit smarter than that. Hard to know exactly what they were thinking there, because that kind of delay, well, it's not ideal. And it looks like they're trying to remedy any delay issues by getting into the building right away in round number 10. TPA approaching from down below, looking to apply more vertical pressure up towards Trophy and Statuary like he did before.
Yeah, this time the big thing for this round was the fact that really INCONTROL were playing a passive defense, not really going for utility to stop any kind of breach, letting them take control of master bedroom, letting them open the wall up, and that kind of was the issue though. But this time INCONTROL are playing a different way. You see open holes from that tri-wall into master, you see an open hole towards that jump in from the closet. So it looks like it's INCONTROL this time are trying to resist as much as possible, stop them taking master, stop them opening up this wall, and make sure they don't run into that same situation where they're gated out of their own defense, of their own site. As you see so far, it looks like maybe at this point Achieve looking to try and take control Astro and trying to flank these players who are at the forefront of stopping that master control.
Well, Dunny knows a lot of pressure's coming his way. Still eye trained on this closet window, but now knows that, well, the bathroom window has also been dealt with, so he'll back off. There goes the Vulcan shield. That's going to be TPA from below, I believe, who actually was the one to deal with that. Could have been Riot on the window as well, had a nade cooked up. Either way, they've got the job done, and that is going to allow them access to bathroom now, and access to what could be an eventual crossfire if they get somebody on that Astro window. Focus still remains on the bedroom for now, as they try to now force off another player sitting on that deployable shield. That one over on that master door, but Morocco, instead of focusing on that triple wall, will focus on just getting into bathroom and looking for some gunfights.
Now TPA could be a man, could be a game changer here as he walks up Astro stairs, but looks like, yeah, Achieve is full control. Riot with a kill on a Serve, who was playing Astro, I believe. That should allow TPA now to bring it up. Twizzler with his own kill onto Reaper, and the gunfights are going once again in the favor of Achieve. Badger will fight one back for his team. First kill for his team in favor, but still the man advantage is in Achieve's favor for the moment. Smokes are trying to push these players off these positions. Tack with a great kill, but on the rotate, TPA will stop Badger from trying to get away from that Astro repel.
Now swinging around, looking for a couple of these kills, knows that Achieve, they're once again on the precipice of taking control of this site rather quickly, but the one thing they do not have is, one, a lot of time, and two, the diffuser still remains out of pocket, close in the eye of this defense, but it looks like Traken will finally recover that, assisted by TPA, forcing Dunny back, and now getting a good flick there. That's TPA. Traken as well will get the kill at the same time, and Achieve will regain that 2-round lead, and they will move ahead to match point.
And again, that round just coming down to gunfights. There was a lot of, set up towards that master side from INCONTROL. They're trying to hold off and stop Achieve from taking quick control of master and opening the wall like they did that first time when they played that site, which they did hold off for a little bit. But even if they did that, they wasted some time, wasted some utility. It was still Achieve to take that final control of bathroom and win gunfight after gunfight to put them in the lead. And that's from that point, INCONTROL they get aggressive. They take fights. What they did, they won some fights, they won some back, but it was still in the end. You saw if TPA cuts off Badger. We saw them take control Astro from that point. And from that point on, they just had two great angles from Astro, from Bricks onto the last two players. They ended right there and take match point. And now we go on Aviator games once again for INCONTROL, but the only one they've won so far is Dining Kitchen.
Right, I mean, it's been tough for them to find a site that they want to defend. In fact, nearly impossible, like you said. Kitchen and Dining, they've only won it. They've only won it once. They've tried Trophy and Statuary. They've tried Aviator in games. Now they're 0-2 on Trophy and Statuary. Unless they can win this one here, they'll be 0-2 on Aviator in games as well. So now they are trying to make any and all adjustments possible on this site. They're once again bringing out the Tachanka, trying to delay as much time as possible when it comes to that entry. Bringing out the Thunderbird this time as well from Reaper, hoping that maybe that can bolster those existing positions in the site. Maybe a little bit bolster this extension as well. We can see him tucking one away over by that statuary door. So maybe they're looking to gear up and help these players who are trying to deal with anyone working their way in from the south side.
That's quite an extension too. They're dedicating not only reinforcements but castle barricades to that statuary trophy side, which we did see from Achieve. They did push from that statuary side last time, the trophy master side. They pushed in, they got the control. They actually lost them in that event when they pushed through, but they still, that was the main focus of the attack. But looks like this time, looks like they're just going to walk in. TPA taking heavy fire, just walks in. They droned out. They know there's not much control here. He pre-fires two members on the defense of INCONTROL. A third one coming his way, and he's finally taken down. But Morocco with a kill of his own. It's now a 4v2 within the first 40 seconds.
Yeah, Dunny and Surf left alone here. The good thing is they've got all the plant denial they could ever want, but their teammates are gone and they are stuck. Because Achieve, all they've got to do is hunt for these frags and just get aggressive. They've isolated Dunny after all. He's kind of stuck here in 90, not even in a position to use that C4 if the bomb were to go down. So Achieve, what they should do here is probably move a little bit quicker, get on their toes, and just get a move on, because if not, they could allow Dunny to get all the way back into the site. Not only that, get aggressive. He's now relocated. He'll work his way back into Vault. He swung on Study just a moment ago. And he is eager to get aggressive because he knows even though Serve got 1 kill, they are still down 1. And to take this one back fully and to have a shot at denying a plant, they need to just bucker up and just absolutely deny this push as it comes in. Twiz will now challenge onto Dunny. A nice nade comes in. Twiz are trying to take that fight. He'll now look towards Serve. Wins that one out with the F2, now looking for the second. Dunny knows last player standing, and Twiz makes quick work of him as well. Achieve take round 11. And they will close out our third map, another 7-4 scoreline. It is Achieve who move on to that decider. And in control, unfortunately for them, their run in this first split of SCS6 has concluded.
When we talk about attacking rounds meaning more than anything when it comes to this match so far, and once again, that what proved true. We saw in control, they won 3 of their attacks. They're looking decent. But then we get onto the attacks of Achieve, and they win them handily, time and time again. And they showed us, well, both teams, who can attack better on Villa. Well, it was Achieve today. They had 7-4 on Villa. And really, those attacking rounds, the only time that In Control won was based off of a clutch as well.
Yeah, Chief, they did come a long way from that first map when they couldn't deal with the Reaper at all. Then in map 2, they could kind of deal with Reaper. And in map 3, they dealt with Reaper very successfully. Not only Reaper, of course, but everyone on the side of In Control. Only reason I highlight Reaper here is because we saw how incredible he was throughout every single map. Just getting so many entry picks and just absolutely tearing Achieve apart. But here in map 3, relatively neutralized, and you've got to applaud Achieve for making that one happen.
Yeah, I was like, there's a lot of aggression when it came to those little map 1 and map 2 that Achieve couldn't deal with. But when it came to map 3, you saw time and time again, Achieve were able to deal with that aggression, deal with maybe unexpected peaks, unexpected plays from the side of In Control, and deal with them well. Now put them in, a decider match against Aerial Rise next week. And so far, yeah, I mean, definitely the fact that they just adapted and how much they changed over 3 maps is great to see.
And the thing here for Achieve, I mean, obviously we're looking forward a little bit to that game against Aerial Rise, but they already played Aerial Rise once, losing it 2-0, but keeping it relatively competitive, 7-5-8-6, something we talked about coming into the night. So that is something they can look back on. They have a perfect VOD to review, their own VOD to review against Aerial Rise. They can look at what Aerial Rise did against them, what worked, what didn't. They can look at their own stuff, what worked, what didn't, especially against an Aerial Rise team that is certainly a stronger team than what we saw from In Control tonight. A good effort from In Control, absolutely. I mean, they came out on Cafe and they looked incredible. Even on map 2, making a pretty, a couple of good comeback rounds here or there to take the advantage back that Achieve had work to secure. But at the end of the day, Achieve with a stronger team, Benny.
Yeah, I think at this point you just see that In Control had their moments, but when it came to Achieve, I feel like they just adapted better. They found weaknesses like you saw in the last round too. The fact that they droned out, figured out that nobody was playing that main stairs well. It was just one member by themselves, and TPA takes full advantage. So it just comes down to just that being able to make those calls in those moments when you make that good call, critical call. We saw from In Control they had tough times trying to do that in certain rounds.
Well, both teams, had a couple of struggles with making a decisive call. And we saw on their attacking side, even on the defensive side, when they were trying to make like some sort of comeback happen in the round, making a decisive call that said, okay, we're up a man or we're down a man. Here's how we're going to solve it. And we're going to solve it right now. Go. Right. And we saw that happen a couple of times. And that when we did, it was successful. We saw it in those last few rounds as well from Achieve. But in the moments, both of these teams, they did have a couple of struggles with making just clean executes, clear-cut calls. And it manifested itself a little bit, especially in the stats here of In Control. They just couldn't quite get a feel for the rhythm. They couldn't quite fully get into their own skin that worked so well for them in map 1.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate. No one could really stick around and really figure things out, get in that groove like you said. And you can see there's only one person that really tried to push out was Reaper. He was getting those, some of those picks to try and bring things back for his team. There were, tack, and also Dunny got those like couple clutches here and there, but in the end it seemed like it seemed like early to mid round, it just seemed like Achieve were most of that game, just in a better spot, able to play things out a lot better. You see from the stats, you can see from the fact that maybe that trio you were talking about played a lot better here compared to the map 1 or 2.
Right, TPA for the most part was still relatively shut down. You got to applaud INCONTROL for that. But you also have got to applaud Achieve as a whole for, despite that, really making it work. Right, Tracken as the top frag, playing the Goyo, playing the Nomad, roles that you don't expect to be extremely frag heavy. Twizzler as well, also more of that flex role. Obviously, the Twitch on the attack is an aggressive and a great gun as well. But overall, putting up pretty impressive numbers. You can now see the stats overall between all 3 maps and how kind of everyone stacked up to each other. Reaper, of course, proving the most impressive in terms of rating, in terms of the KD, and a 13-1 overall on the entry. But everyone else, it looks a little bit more even maybe on the side of Achieve. You have more players above that 1.0 rating. Like I said, TPA is already a little bit falling behind, and Morocco playing the support 0.85 rating. Nothing too bad either. But on the side of INCONTROL, maybe a little bit lacking, maybe a couple more players that didn't quite get as much impact felt.
Yeah, I guess maybe Reaper getting the 13-1 was kind of a big point for them. He was getting shut down later and later as you go through the map, all the maps. So that's kind of unfortunate. There wasn't someone to really take his place and start to bring that back, unfortunately. Attack 4-4. He had a better game, at least compared to last week, but still not quite what you want out of your entry. Though I will say TP also didn't have great entries either, though, as that player.
Well, Benny, as beautiful as the stats are, I'm actually going to throw things to an interview here. We've got Tracken coming in from Achieve, and we're going to chat him up here and see exactly his thoughts on the win. Tracken, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Awesome. Well, first of all, congratulations on the win. You're making it to that decider matchup next week. But first of all, talk to me about your expectations coming into this one, right? You just faced off Aerial Arise, an incredibly strong team who had a lot of hype surrounding them as they came into the league, and you put up a pretty good fight against them last week. Coming into this one, what do you expect?
It's pretty easy. All these teams suck. Hey, Two-Face fucking sucks. I'm not gonna lie. We got Two-Face in the bag. They've been talking that shit. Yeah, we got Two-Face. Aerial Rise definitely hit a lick on us. Everyone else, it's not gonna be too easy.
All right, so Two-Face, you've got your eyes set already.
Yeah.
On the playoffs. Okay, well, I'll ask you a little bit before we move on to the future. I'll ask you a little bit more about this particular game. Reaper specifically on the other team, of course, absolutely tore you apart on map 1 and almost on map 2, but you guys were able to make some adjustments. Was there anything specific you guys did coming into map 2 and map 3 to deal with him?
Nah, he's just baiter. He's just baiting.
Dropped 19 on Cafe, though. That's pretty good.
Yeah, for the L, though. You feel me?
That's true. At the end of the day, you guys were able to take him down. Specifically coming out of Cafe and shifting your gaze into your own map pick of Oregon. Not only Reaper specifically, but everyone on INCONTROL did seem to have you guys down pretty solid.
Yeah, they're a good
any
team.
Adjustment you made to coming into those next 2 maps? Did you have a discussion with the team over the timeout you took and say, hey, here's what we're going to do and here's how we're going to change it up?
Yeah, of course. Like, they're a good team. I'm talking my shit, but everyone knows they're a good team. Everyone in the league is really good, and you just got to come prepared for every single game and be able to adapt mid-round.
All right, well, I'll talk to you about the future. As you said, you seem eager to talk about it. You've got Aerial Arise next week, and you theoretically have playoffs after that. What do you think your chances are against Aerial Arise? You're going to put in the work to do the VOD review from your previous matchup?
Facts. I feel like they hit a lick. They definitely they beat us, and they're a really good CL team. Same with Two-Face, so we're going to have to come prepared. We're going to have to counter-strat and bring something to the table.
All right, looking forward to it, Track. And again, congrats on the win, and look forward to seeing you in the future.
Appreciate you, brother.
All right. Well, Benny, I think sounded pretty confident, you know?
Yeah.
And I think it'll be interesting to see how far they can go.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what they can bring to the table next week against Aerial Rise. We know what counter strats they can bring out, what strats in general, because they had some cool things come out today on Villa, and I'm interested to see have more of that when they come against Aerial Rise and what maps they're gonna play. Because I guess the issue too is like, what are the map pools like for these amateur teams too? Are they able to play some of those crazy maps like Coastline, Chalet?
Right, and that's something that's going to be tested. You know, the further we get in the season, we'll probably see some more maps. We'll probably see some more, target bands as everyone gets a bit more familiar with each other's map pool. But a great first series to start, Benny. It's been a pleasure casting with you for the first time. And we'll head into our next series. That one is going to be Investigation File versus Okami, that's going to be a good one. Before we go, one more massive thank you to our wonderful sponsor, Mike and Ike. You can take your candy game to the next level with a pack of Mike and Ike Original Fruits or a pack of Mike and Ike Mega Mix. The delicious, fruity, chewy flavors can help fuel your game and power you up to keep playing at your best. Power up with Mike and Ike. And hopefully you can do that while we take this quick break. We'll be back with our second series and our final series of the night. We'll see you guys in a few minutes.